today.
What chocolate today?
Grand national state level, you have to run non-sale, it's wholesale.
It is like 9,000.
The only mistake I made, I didn't put her in the registration booth with the number.
Just this ever-evolving story.
So I got something in the mail a little while ago that I want to show you guys. So what this is from Mr. Dave Banter. And this is his own home collection of his videos that he's taped, things that he's done while pulling. So check this out. I've already gone through these and kind of labeled them, but this is what we've got. We've got about probably 25 DVDs here. Some of them are copies, but he's given me permission to release these. So the first one I'm going to do it by year. I'm going to start with the earliest and go to the latest. But the first one I'm going to do, is going to be this Banner Brothers special, or the Hidden Hero special, that I used a lot of the video from this on his first video. And then this one from 74 has no sound to it. So I'm going to go to his house and sit down with him and watch this video and have him identify who's in this video, because I only know a couple of these guys. We've got that. We've got, there's a couple copies here of the same thing, but Hamburg, New York, the Knox History, 83 Indy Super Pull, 85 Indy Super Pull, 87 Fort Wayne Bloomsburg, 1990 Thelma, 91 Chapel Hill, 90 Pocono. Let's kind of go up here. 91 Indy Super. I think this is a copy of that. 91 Inwood. Another 91 Inwood. That may be a copy. 92 Fort Recovery in Chapel Hill. 94 Enderley in Columbus, Ohio. 94 Chapel Hill. 94 Inwood. 94 Inwood. 94 Inwood. And then 95 Toma. So as I put these out, I'm going to label them Dave Banter Home Video Collection, so he gets the credit for it. Some of this is on TV and has been out already, but some of it you may not have seen recently. So that's what we're going to be putting out over the next probably couple of years, I guess, for this stuff. So I just want to thank Mr. Banner for sending me these and entrusting me with these. So we're going to get them out so everybody can see them. I also wanted to show you this too. This is all from Dave Seeger, who ran PI Pulling. Most of this is 80s pulling, almost all of it. And I've gone through a lot of it, starting to digitize it, and we're going to be putting this stuff out too. This is all Jim and Julie Kramer's tapes. A lot of this is home stuff. Some Bigfoot that I can't really release because it's their property, but I love doing this stuff. If you guys have, or any family members know of any VCR tapes that are laying around that they don't know what to do with or can't get digitized, please send them to me and I'll do it for free as long as I can use the footage. That way we can share this with everybody, and not home personal stuff, but the pulling stuff or old racing videos or anything like that. So let me know. Send me a message. Either I'll put my email address down here, or you can contact me at Robguy's Garage on Facebook. Send me a message, and I love going through these tapes and stuff. Today, we're going to start with the Banner Brothers Hidden Heroes.
Is the purse. In the modified class, each multi-engine monster is a tribute to American mechanical creativity. This is Dave Bowman. Join me as we meet the men behind this burly 6-engine beast, the famous Banner Brothers. Fort Recovery, Ohio is in the heart of tractor pulling country. It's the site of the NTPA Summer Nationals, the event closest to home for the Banter Brothers. Late Saturday afternoon, Dave and Ralph Banner relax in the July heat by watching the other classes compete. Their 9,200-pound modified class will be the last to run. These two racers have a unique relationship.
Me and my brother's probably the only two brother teams left, but boy, ours I feel like has really been unique in a way, because I don't like to drive, and I won't drive. I mean, I believe if David didn't want to drive for us, I would probably quit and just build parts for people. But he does like to do that, and I like to make the parts for him, and he's getting in where he likes to make the chassis and he tunes the motor.
My brother, he does the building, and well, he used to do all the building and the designing them all together, and now that I went into it full time, I'm helping him build. But he does a lot of this gearbox work, coupler works, dry shaft work and stuff, where that shaft has to be special made that goes back through there, because you just can't go to the store and buy this stuff. All this stuff has to be made, and that's his main thing is dry shafts, gearboxes, transmissions, which you can't see in there, but the transmission and the rear ends. And the rear end is like a center section out like a semi truck, and then on the outside we have a big planetary Caterpillar deal, and this is what Ralph specializes in.
I pull tractors to sell my parts, basically, is what it amounts to. I love to make up things that nobody else have, and if I do, and if I win with them and compete good with them, of course they're going to want them also if they're going to stay in the game. And this is what I've done for 10 years.
Ralph lives in the little town of Banco, Indiana. He's been involved in tractor pulling for almost as long as it's been an organized sport.
I started just like everybody else did. I started with an old farm tractor, and I had an old flathead Ford V8, and I stuck it in there, and the first pull I went to, I never even had a truck to carry it on. I drove it to the tractor pull, down the road, you know. And I went in there and I pulled, and I enjoyed it, and I've been back ever since. When we started in tractor pulling, we used farm tractors, but the parts in them would not withstand the horsepower it took to compete in national tractor pulling. The biggest thing that we broke in the tractors were the rear end housings, the rear end gears themselves, and the transmissions in the tractors. So in return, we tried to manufacture or start making a rear end that would hold the power and pull the load that we pull today to compete. And this is mainly what I do, is just literally take the truck rear end and get the planetaries off of a Caterpillar and cut them down and put the spindles on and make the axles and make a unit strong enough to hold a 6-motor tractor.
We've got a length rule, a tire size, and a weight. That's the only limitations we have got. Anything else we can come up with, you can do, and that's why we call it a modified tractor. You can just, as long as you stay within the...
Let's see here. Well, welcome to Let's Go Pulling Monday night, November 24th. Rob's Guys Garage. Rob, Reed from Lakeville, Illinois, joining us tonight. So let us know where you're watching from in the comments right now. We were sharing one of his YouTube videos that he had there. Go check out Robguy. It's Robguy Garage on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll put the link in there as well. Rob, how long? I need to know what got you into this, because it's awesome. I found your YouTube channel a while ago, and people will send me videos from it to watch and stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got to this point where you wanted to, dig up some of this history for us.
Okay. Well, I grew up about a half hour from the Buck in PA, one of probably the biggest, well-known pulling places in the East Coast. So my dad would take me there, and then when you were a kid when the SRO stuff started coming around, the Alan Gaines, the Gary Collins, all that stuff, they would come to the indoor shows once a year, and we would see them either in Baltimore or Philly. And at that time, ever since I was a kid, I've loved trucks. I still have the first book my mom ever read me, and it was A Day in the Life of a Trucker. And I still have that book, and just loved trucks since I was a kid. And then when this pulling and monster truck stuff came around, and when you could sit in an arena and have pickup trucks with massive engines indoors, it was just awesome, And then, of course, you got the tractors with multiple engines, and it was just something that we'd never seen before, ever. And of course, that just kept going and going and going. And so one day, I drive a semi for UPS and get a couple of vacations. So
Not now.
No. From here on out, we're busy. Yeah, we're busy. But so my daughter, I've always wanted to see the Orange Blossom Special again since I was a kid. Just love that truck. My favorite truck. I've got the poster in my garage up here that always goes up my garage first of it. And I think Alan signed it, but it's so faded I can't even find his signature on it. But so I've always wanted to see it again, and knew that it was in Tennessee at one point or in Kentucky. And I'm like, my girls don't want to drive 9 hours to go see a truck, right? So I grew them up for about 20 years. And then I'm sitting on the couch on a Sunday night with my wife, and I said, whoa, wait, this is the first week coming up. I'm on vacation, and we don't have to do a family vacation because one's in college and one's working full time. So I looked at my wife and I said, you know what I want to do? I'm going to go find that Orange Blossom Special. She's like, what? So I said, I'm going to do it. So a couple hours of research, I found the name of Carrie in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Yep. No, I didn't even have Eddie's name. I just had Carrie in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and that was it. So I got up Monday morning, drove 6.5 hours to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky to try to find this truck. And I drive all the way down there. So I find Carrie's Automotive. So I drove there. I got there about 4:00, and there's a big padlock across the door. I'm like, no way. 6.5 hours for a padlock. So I looked next door. There was a little 3-bay automotive shop. And I went in there and I said, okay, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I'm looking for a truck I've loved since I was a kid. Supposedly this last name of Carrie owns it. It's supposed to be in this town. And she's like, oh, hang on a second. She goes, hands me the owner's phone number. And I was like, no way. So I called up Eddie Carey. He's like, come on over and look at it. Gave me 3 hours with it. And that started this whole thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember the Orange Blossom Special as a kid. If any of you watching, Logan, you're still just a kid, so you don't remember the Orange Blossom Special like we do. But I had the toy. I got to watch it in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and my dad took me to pulls, and I watched it pull multiple times. And then, of course, I know Eddie Carey now. He owns TNT Truck and Tractor Pull, and he actually makes passes with it at his Lexington pull in January every year. It's pretty neat to see it back out, or to see it live again, because that's such a vivid childhood memory for me, Rob. So for
sure, yep, me too. So we go to Kentucky every year for January, so I can see it again, sit in it. And of course, the other guys, Keith Ryan and Dale Glass, that have that truck right there. We've done interviews with them now, gone all over that thing. So I like to spend about an hour or two just super detailing these trucks, so that if anything happens to them, we have it all on good quality video. And it's a good thing I did, because if you saw the Gary Collins video, that was a real
Oh,
He lost that in a fire, right?
yeah. And I was the last guy to sit in it. And 2 days before I put the video out with him in it in his shop, he texted me and says the Bud Boss is gone. And I'm like, what do you mean it's gone? He's like, it melted to the ground last night. I'm like, oh. So that has really encouraged me to just, we've got to get this stuff that we all loved as kids on video and preserve it for history.
Tommy Reed.
Gosh, that was a beautiful truck.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Reedy is somebody I know from out west that pulls 2-wheel drive truck, and they have a 4-wheel drive with his wife. But he said, I saw the Orange Blossom Special at the Kingdom up in Seattle back in the 80s when it pulled up there one time. So that's neat to see.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you need to go check out Robguy's Garage on YouTube. I'm just sharing some of these videos so you can jump in and see them. He spends a lot of time and effort running around. I love this because this is true media. This is true getting out there and not just standing at the end of the track filming a pulling vehicle coming down the track. You're telling the history of it. I love this, Rob. Thank you. And then I wouldn't have met you if it had been for Logan, and we're going to get into the Make and Bacon special here in a second. But I kind of wanted to tell this backstory. We slotted you for an hour. So come on, guys. Let the questions get in here. We'll ask them to Rob. And then, Logan, it's time for me to shut up and you start talking to Rob, okay? So.
Well, I think we can get that done there, Jason. Pipe in when you want, but let's get this rolling. So, Rob, first of all, let's kind of talk about, looking at the sport as a whole, how it's developed over these years from the early beginnings to some of the big names of the Banner brothers and, just huge pullers along the way, getting to where we are today. What do you think was kind of the best era in pulling?
Well, for me, it was mid 80s when all this stuff started coming out. Obviously, pulling's been going on since like the 50s, I think, late 50s into the 60s, into the 70s. But, I was born in 70, so I'm 55 now. So we kind of grew up with the, like that, like the Three Stooges and Wally Harble. And I've got my picture next to the Blue Max as a kid, and I was really hoping to remake that picture, but he doesn't have the truck anymore. So my favorite era is that I try to get like 80s to 2000 is like my favorite era.
So along that time, we saw some massive pulls throughout the Indy Super Pull, big indoor events, outdoor events. Really, the sport kind of flourished in that 1980s to 2000s. What do you think? Not that the sport's kind of gone away, but to draw the older people, the Hall of Famers, as Jason would put it, kind of back into the sport and how it's evolved to today.
Well, that's what I'm hoping to do with this. So I'm hoping I get to meet, and I got to meet some incredible people doing this with the Jaskies and Bargies and Gary Collins and Banners and Mike Galloway. And I just can't believe what's happening with I was the kid in the stands getting to watch these guys, and now I'm getting to see them, interview them, and have them as a contact in my phone. I just can't believe it, And it's just amazing, I think, what's happening. So hopefully that will get them back into it too. And I want to get the younger kids into it too, to see where the sport came from. And I just like your name of your podcast. I want to grow pulling because it's too cool of a sport to not be better known,
Exactly. No, seeing where the sports come from, that always interests me because it seems nowadays you can get stuck in a rut of very cookie cutter vehicles, but you look towards the past and boy, how they were bolting engines on anywhere they could and just the true pioneers of the sport. So you mentioned there your favorite vehicle was the Orange Blossom being your first. What kind of, what do you think was is that your favorite project that you've done, or have you had more projects that was more of a search than what the original Orange Blossom Special was?
Oh yeah, we've had some searches. So I love finding trucks and tractors that are sitting in the weeds, seeing where they're at today. So one of my favorite ones was the finding the blue ox of Bud Jaskey. That was that video. I love that one. And the funny thing is, been looking for it for a year and a half or 2 years. It ended up being 7 minutes from my house, sitting in the weeds for 15 years. Unreal, right?
Yes.
So we did end up finding it through a bunch of clues. It's almost like going on a scavenger hunt, where that story right there is incredible, because there was some Facebook posts, and I had a guy named Mike Krieger who really helped me with this, gave me like Craigslist posts from when it was lost, who had it last. So making a lot of calls, like doing a lot of like almost like detective work, and then finding out that it was the pictures. You look in the background, a lot of the pictures, that gives you a lot of clues. So this one, there was a lot of cut wood, firewood in the background. So I knew there was like firewood, there was other stuff, and I found, just by searching around, the guy that had that firewood pile had some other vehicles in the background of other pictures. And then in those pictures was a water tower. And this water tower had two antennas on top of it. One was like taller than the other. So I happen to have a buddy who works at the water department. So I sent him a picture of this water tower and said, "Hey, where is this?" And he told me which one it was. We were able to go to the water tower, look at it, tell that we were on the wrong side of the water tower from the way the antennas were, switched around to the other side, drive down the road. I see a small sign that says firewood. I'm like, no way. So we turn in the driveway, ask the lady if I can go into her backyard where this place was, and she says yes. And there it was, sitting in the weeds.
Wow.
I mean, just crazy stuff's happening. It's so much fun. So
No, 100%. We get Antone here asking about Ron Perry and the widely known solid junk tractor.
okay.
I think that'd be an interesting interview. What do you think?
Well, we've already interviewed Ron.
Oh,
Yeah. So that will be coming. So I'm backlogged probably about 6 months on videos right now. So who's coming out like next is going to be, we just had the tractor with Jill, the Make and Bacon special. And the next will be the Bargies. We did an interview with them and their family. Milt Bergman's coming up. Dusty and Tim Arfons, we've spent time with them. And then the Bigfoot guys, Bob Chandler and Marilyn at their house, and Jim and Julie Kramer at their house. And yeah, I'm backlogged on videos for sure. So it takes about 25 hours to get the first video out with editing and research and just to put one of those together.
yep. So we talked a little bit there. We can talk some more on it. You've been doing this for how many years?
Right about 3 years now. I've had the YouTube channel for about 4 or 5 years, but the pulling stuff came along when I went and found that Orange Blossom about 3 years ago.
Yep. How many vehicles and different people along your travels have you interviewed?
Oh man. Well, I've got 246 videos up on my channel. Probably about 40 to 50 interviews now altogether, that even the ones that haven't come out. And
Wow.
finding vehicles has been about 10, I think, something like that.
That's awesome to see. That's some dedication to the whole sport there.
Oh yeah, this year we've done 11,000 miles of driving for these interviews and looking for trucks and tractors.
That's getting up there with as many miles as what we travel in a summer going pulling. Said, wow.
Yeah, I love it though. It's so much fun. So, and I appreciate everybody that watches the videos. It really helps because that does pay for the hotel rooms, the food, the gas. So yeah, it's great.
So yeah, that's just awesome. Let's talk about your most recent publication here.
Okay.
We were definitely very surprised seeing that come out because this tractor has been lost for some time, and you'll see every once in a while someone pop up and ask where it's at, where it went, kind of deal. So how'd you really decide to go down the road with talking to Jill and going after the Making Bacon special?
Well, what I'm trying to do is get to the older people first before something happens. So, and Jill, she commented on one of the videos. So that's really how I find a lot of people is I read all the comments. I try to respond to all the comments and I see who gives a thumbs up to the video. And a lot of the contacts I'm able to get is looking through those. And then I saw that Jill, gave a thumbs up to probably one of the bargee pictures or something on Facebook. So I messaged her and I said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a video?" And she says yes. And it's amazing how many of these people say yes. I don't think I've had anybody yet that I've asked to do a video say no. And it's just, I'm so grateful that they're willing to give me that time, sit down with me. And then this video you see here with Jill, she had her daughter and son-in-law Sean of the Jansen family, Russ Jansen and the Blackhawks special. She gave me all the time. So I didn't know if she had the tractor or not at the time when we did this. So we videoed this back in May. So I really don't know when I go to a lot of these places if they have it or not. It's a surprise to me. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that was definitely really awesome seeing where the tractors come from, the progression through the years, and really, I've never talked to Jill. Dad's talked to her and Bruce when Bruce was still around, and that was a really sad day when Bruce left this great earth because he was a phenomenal man with stuff.
Yep.
But truly is awesome what you're doing, trying to get this stuff documented because one day it's not going to be there.
Exactly. Yep. And a lot of this history, like when someone passes, their family members might not care about it. So who knows how much stuff's been thrown in the dumpster over the years, if their kids aren't into it, don't appreciate it. The pictures, the videos, all that stuff is gone, so that's what I'm trying to get to. A lot of these people preserve all these pictures like you see here. I mean, that's 1975 Bruce Hutcherson pictures. You're not going to get that from anywhere else other than going to their house and letting them. I mean, these people are nice enough to let me in, and I'm basically a stranger to them, which is another unbelievable thing to me too. So I really appreciate Jill and everything they did for us that day.
Chris Kilbarger wants to know when we're going to find the Studley Studebaker and the Chevy National.
Okay, well, the Studley Studebaker, those guys are on my list for sure. I mean, I have a huge list now of probably 100 people to go interview and find. And the Chevy National, I've talked to the guy that has the body. We just got to get over to him and see it. But I think it's been changed to, I think it's been repainted to a different paint scheme. But yeah, we'll be getting out there one day.
That's awesome. It sounds like you got a ton of good contacts to go through. You talk about getting through the older vehicles first. What's some of the oldest vehicles that you've tracked down and traced?
Well, let's see. We've done let me just go through the Orange Blossom was probably one of the oldest, and then the Bud Jaskey's Blue Ox was another old one. We did find Bud Jaskey's Golden Ox, the tube frame truck. And so even with the Jaskeys, they let us come to their facility, interview Bud and Steve, They were so nice. And then they gave us the name of the guy that had the Golden Ox truck, which was a groundbreaking truck with its tube frame and 4-cam engine, and the areas that they made out of that. And it was so cool when that guy lifts that garage door and there's the Blue Ox and it's got dust all over it. And I just love that stuff. Still, that it's still around, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you travel to all these places. Let's talk about a little bit more about kind of the second part of figuring out where this Making Bacon special is today. So, I mean, I think most of the podcast guys know that it currently resides back here in Kansas with us. But what's kind of your process of going through, you come up with your vehicle and then going through and researching it?
Well, mainly it's because I knew about it from when I was a kid, you know, and then you lose touch with these people. It really has to do with like time. I've talked to like probably said like 100 people that are ready to do videos. It's just time management. If they're healthy enough, some people have to postpone because they run into health issues, and you know, I respect that. So like, let's just say Bobby Johns, I was gonna, with a Kool-Aid Kid, the 2-wheel drive super modified, I was gonna interview him last summer, but then he had a health issue, so he's postponed till later this summer. It just depends on like my vacation schedule, because we take a lot of our vacations now, me and my wife, and then she goes with me a lot, and we do these together. And she's a great help with like, you know, sitting there talking with the wives. If I'm talking to the husband, brings a great side to it. And then it just depends on, it's really timing. If the people have time and they're not on vacation, see, a lot of these older people go to Florida for the winter. So it's tough to schedule stuff when I actually have time too. So it's just a scheduling who's available really next. So.
Wow. So out of your list, we talked about your kind of build up of videos for the next 6 months or so. Who's going to be your next interview that you're traveling out to meet?
Well, we don't have one set up yet, but there's, like I said, there's about 100. So it kind of comes down to who's available next. So we just did a puller reunion with about 82 of these guys and girls. And a lot of them are local, like Rob Fuchs with the First Blood monster truck. Deborah Donay. She's close to me. She's only about 45 minutes away. So after, like I said, with my work schedule, I won't be able to do anything till January. And then we're going to the polls in Kentucky in January. So I'll start setting stuff up like the 1st of January to see who's available. So it'll be probably somebody like Brenda Donay or someone local to me within like an hour or two. And we got Phil Tristan with the monster truck. He's only about 3 hours away. So it's just timing and scheduling to see who's going to be next.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, just listen to the conversation with this, and then goodness, watching that beautiful Making Bacon special pull. That tractor is truly something special there.
Hey, Rob, you talked about like people like kids, you know, not interested in it, and you're probably throwing stuff away. I heard you say that, and the thing that makes me sick to my stomach, I love Allison engines, Allison, the modified tractors. And I was just out at the Outlaw banquet, and you know, the Otts are kind of the Allison gods with Bollingers, you know. And I was told by my grandpa that after the war, the military was just dumping these Allisons into the ocean. You know what I mean? And I was just like, no. I mean, if you could talk about finding a shipwreck, not that you could use any of it anymore, but I just had to pipe in and say that. So this is so cool. I love all the comments tonight, people watching your videos, and I love your passion for this project, Rob.
You're going to love the Milt Bergman video then, because he's got a blown up Allison in there that he showed us, and he's got 2 tractors. He still has both of his rambunctious tractors with twin Allisons on them. and we go over those with a fine tooth comb. And Milt it was so much fun to be around. Here's one little thing about the video with Milt. So he built his own blow-off valves for the turbo. So what he did was, and he did everything as cheaply as possible. And he showed me this. I had to beg him to show me the front drive retractor, and he didn't want to. I'm like, come on, man, I really want to see it. He's like, all right. He's like, there's so much junk piled over it. So we did get to see it, and obviously it was changed to the rear driver configuration, but he still has it. And he was showing me the blow-off valve, how he would make it. He would take the pipe coming off of it, drill a hole into it, taking like an exhaust valve, and the seat, weld a little riser onto the top of the pipe, the same diameter as a valve seat. Then he would drop the exhaust valve down through that, put a spring on the bottom, and that was his blow-off valve.
That's awesome.
And we have all that on video. I mean, just stuff like that is, it's priceless to be with these guys and see this stuff again. I'm just having so much fun with it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Me and
So,
Jason
Logan,
mentioned
it's
there.
been fun watching our numbers. Like, we normally have about 100 people live between Facebook and YouTube. We're at 150 now, and it's been funny. Like, I think as people are realizing what we're talking about, the numbers are just going up. So it's cool to have people on like this and talk about these stories. It's neat.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love it. So
Awesome. Oh,
I
well,
know-
are we going to see that making bacon out this summer?
We might have to at this point. We might have to do a couple things, and she might come back out this summer. It was super awesome to see what some of these high level organizations are doing with some polling stuff. So we might be making a return.
I would hope a lot of these.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
No, I would hope a lot of these people that, like, let's say you go to Toma, it would be neat to have whoever has stuff to bring it out there and just have it for an exhibition. And if it'll make a pass, let them make an exhibition pass. I think that would be I think it would draw a lot of crowds back in if you could get that kind of stuff there,
Is the Legend Series still going decent, Rob? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I've heard that at Bowling Green, they have a Legend Series, and there's going to be a big deal there either this year or next year.
So in 2016 at the 50th, they pulled every Legend tractor they could.
Oh, nice.
I got, let's see here, 4 or 5 guys. Mike Ott brought an old tractor out, the old, the one with I can't remember what it's called, the War something. Oh, shoot. And then Kevin Dick had something, and we brought him to Richland Center like in 2011 or 2012, and brought him into our fall event, and they brought 4.
Yeah, it would be. I would just love to see even like the Golden Ox that's sitting in storage, just to bring it to.
And I need.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Jason's internet's being weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find this.
No, that's just awesome. Jason mentioned they're picking up Allisons for dirt cheap. I remember Dad telling me a story where you could just go to any Army surplus store and pick those things up for pennies on the dollar, hundreds of bucks kind of deal.
Yeah.
So it's sad there's not more of those left. Let's catch up on a couple of these comments here. Have you found any vehicles out of the state of Texas?
I talked to Holland, Eddie Holland, who's doing all the cool T-shirts and everything now. Yep. So one of my goals is to get down there and see those guys and Manuel Marino's truck. I think their family still has that. And so make even contacts down there, but that's probably 14, 15 hours one way, without flying. So.
Yep. No, that's awesome.
What I have is I've taken like every vehicle I can find and put it on a list and where it is so that I know if somebody calls me up or wants to do something, I have a list of almost every pulling vehicle and maybe who has it now or who had it back in the 80s so that when I go through this list, if I'm in Indiana, I can go through my Indiana list and say, hey, this is only 2 hours away. Let's go try to find Judy Knipstein or something like that, So hitting as many places, I guess that's the UPS guy in me, making as many stops as possible in an hour. So that's probably where that comes from. So
No,
yeah.
we usually have Randy Fishbaugh of OSTPA on, and he called me a little bit before we got on here and said that he needed to make some trucking runs. So he's out being the UPS Santa Claus tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time, even that Mountain Dew truck that's in Ohio, or it was, you know, I would love to find that again. You know, the Bowdens with the Studley Studebaker, and there's just so many, you know, so many.
Yeah. No, I think there's still a lot around. It's just figuring out where they've gone to.
Yep. Yep. That's what I love. I love the search for that stuff. And then a lot of people give me clues all the time. So there's so many people that have helped me. I mean, I especially want to thank Dan Mayer for letting me use his clips and his videos, and Charles Posh also. Those two guys have been my biggest help, I think, with all of this, just for information, letting me use their clips on their videos. And I screwed up with Dan and didn't give him full credit on my Dave Banner video, and I feel sorry about that. And I apologize to him in person about it. So, but he's still letting me use the clips. So hopefully we're, work together, and I'll drive traffic to their his pulling reference site, and then Charles Posh's pulling reference site, or his pulling site also. So.
Yeah, Dan's a phenomenal guy. I think that would be an amazing time just to sit and listen to you two go back and forth about the forthcomings of tractor pulling.
He's on my list, but man, he's so busy. I don't know when I would get a hold of him.
Chris wants to know any updates on the Banner Brothers Brown tractor.
Okay, so that one, the triple engine Banner Brown, like the first Banner Brown, is in John Nowacki's shop right now getting built. So if you look on my Facebook page, I put some pictures up about it, where we had Brad Corporal, Bill Noland, who used to drive for the Banners, John Nowacki, who has a bunch of monster trucks. He's done a bunch of tractors, and he has this Banner Brown tractor, and Dave Banner was there also. So John is hoping to have this tractor ready to go this summer, and maybe have Dave drive it, which would be unreal.
That's awesome. Watching that clip there at the beginning with the Banner Brothers, that's just awesome. Seeing all the creativity that they put into it, and just the love for pulling that shows. Yeah.
I mean, when I got to sit with Dave Banner, and I pulled up to his house as a complete stranger, and he said yes. These people are so nice and so friendly. We've even had people that we haven't met yet that says, hey, if you don't have any place to stay, you can stay here at our house overnight. That's happened a couple of times. These people are just so giving and loving. They feed us. They let us stay at their house for like 6 hours, like way longer than we're supposed to, and it's just so much fun. You make like instant friends already. We've made so many friends with this.
That's what it is. The pulling community is one big family.
Right. So that's why hopefully with these videos getting out there, that people will get back into the sport again. And I think one thing that might help is, like, when I was a kid, the billboards on advertising really helped. So I drive into Chicago every night. And when Chicago had the NASCAR street races going on, they had a billboard going into town that was not one of the electronic ones. It was a paper one, and it stayed up there all the time, showing the date, the time, and a big picture of a NASCAR car. So every time you drive into the city, you would see that billboard. And I think if we had billboards like that on like the major highways 2 or 3 hours away from the facility, it would be a constant reminder to people to help grow this sport. Because when I drive into Chicago and I see that date and time and that picture of that NASCAR car, it reminded me this is coming up. So
yeah, definitely. That's what my whole goal is try to bring as many people to the sport, because without the fans, we're just a bunch of guys out here spending money.
Yeah, it's too great a sport to not be better known. I mean, when you can watch 5 engines on one tractor go down a track, it's more horsepower than a nitro top fuel car,
Yeah. No, I think the sports it's definitely not done. There's a lot of big stuff coming in its future.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the amount of money these guys spend on haulers, it's when you go to one of these newer pools, it's unbelievable. The craftsmanship, the paint, the chrome, the toter homes. I took it a guy for the first time in a long time, and he couldn't get over it, how cool it was. Just the whole environment.
That's awesome. Robert Miner wants to know, I mean, you track down the vehicles. Where's some of the old sleds from back in that day?
So we had Jim Lutke come to our reunion. He's another one I got to get to. And so he still has their first polling sled. And he's invited me over to his place, but now it's getting cold again. So we might wait till, March or April, because a lot of obviously the sled stuff's going to be outside. So I've got that one, and I've got Ron Hickson's name down. I don't even know if he's still alive or not, but we got that their sled written down. There's a couple other ones. I have to go through my sled list and look at it, but I do have a sled list. So
yeah, that's just as cool. Like, we bought the truck came out of Texas. It was Kenneth Popham's, but before that, it was the Fast Forward truck of Jim Lyons.
Okay.
And just when we had it, I mean, we made several updates to it, but how the sled technology is pulling sleds from back when that truck was in its heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s to where the sleds are to today. So,
yeah, it's vastly different, because when I was a kid in the 80s, it was like a steady pull. They started and just pulled, and it was about 180 indoor foot track when we saw them, and they didn't take off and raise the pan up a whole lot. I mean, they wanted to, but it was, you got to get the weight on the guys quick, because you're only 180 feet indoors. But now there's so much horsepower. They had to put the bars under the sled and get these things heavy to stop these guys, because it's almost like drag racing, where the horsepower just keeps going and going and going and doesn't seem to stop, no matter what the limits are.
The technology, comparing kind of some of the guys that were at the forefront of the sport in the 80s to now, the fundamental principles are still the same. The horsepower has just gone through the roof, though.
Yeah. And if you can get to a pool like Toma or Farley, and you can get in the pits and you can see this stuff up close and see how it works. You can talk to, the Leichners. You can talk to Simon. These guys are readily available to talk to. It's not like when you go to a race and you have to sit in the stands. You can go in the pits and talk to these guys, and they're so nice. They'll give you you can ask them any question you want. That's another thing I love about this.
Yes, exactly. It's not like dirt track where you have to pay for where they nickel and dime you for a pit pass and all that. No, you go back there and you see these wonderful machines up close in person.
Yeah, they'll let you take pictures and video. And sometimes when I'm doing a video on somebody, I'm like, hey, do you want me to not video this? He's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, it's out there for everybody to see. So go ahead. That's what happened when we did the Kalen Dews, the van, when they had the engine out of the truck and you could see like the innards of the whole thing. I was like, do you want me to video this or not? He's like, don't matter. It's fine. Go ahead. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, you're big into the pulling, but we also see every now and again, we'll get something that treats us like a good old trip to the Bigfoot. Tell us a little bit about your projects that aren't the tractor pulling flavor.
All right. So like one of the guys that kind of got me doing the YouTube thing was Cletus McFarland. So I loved him since he bought that NASCAR truck, and been watching every single video he puts out, and just the way he does stuff, the intros, the outros. So I kind of followed his lead on some of that stuff and how it works, and just being positive, no bad comments, nothing like that, try to even bring a little faith into things sometimes. And so we watch a lot of him. We go to his shows. We go to mud bogs. I take my wheelies that I got behind me through the mud a bunch. You'll see some videos on that. We do car shows, PRI show, bunch of Jeep stuff. Like this weekend, I've got a Christmas tree in the back of my truck, and we're going to go to a run of 500 Jeeps where we'll a Toys for Tots run with my Jeeps on the Run Club, where we will fill about 2.5 semis full of toys for these kids for this winter, this Christmas.
What a beautiful Jeep it is there too.
Yeah, I've had that. I bought that when I was 15.
Wow.
Still just drove it yesterday. So we fix cars, I do a lot of car fixing stuff, and people seem to appreciate that too. Like I'll do a pretty detailed video on, let's say, the rear brakes on a 21 Ford Ranger, and there's some things you got to know. And since my brother-in-law is a master mechanic, he lets me use his program for that. And so I get a lot of tips and tricks on how to fix some of the newer stuff it's kind of complicated. A brake job's not just a brake job anymore. You have to have almost a scanner to reset the pads, reset the calipers, and there's ways to do stuff. And, through him letting me use some time through some tools and all that, I'm able to help people with fixing cars even. So we love doing that too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jason, you might have to help me out on this one. This one might have been before my time. What's Chris asking about here?
Were you at the Hall of Fame event where Derek Beery drove Black Stallion?
No, I wasn't. The Hall of Fame, I've been, we just went to that one last 2 weeks ago, the Bigfoot, or not Bigfoot, the Jeff Cook Museum. Is that what he's talking about?
I'm assuming, because Chris is like, he's a nerd like this, like you are, Rob, with this history stuff.
Oh, I know.
We should have Dan Mayer hold a reunion of you guys and just put you in a room, and it'd be funny. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I met Chris at the Bigfoot open house. He's a great guy, and the guys that comment, I look at every comment, and I know the guys who comment a lot, and Chris is one of those guys. So it's fun to meet these guys when we go to like the Bigfoot open house or something like that.
Yeah, I got to know Chris. Chris works for us with Full Pull Live. He comes run camera for us when we're in Ohio and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Lee Benson mentioned here making a return out on the West Coast. Yep, that's where the good old truck went. Loaded it up there and headed out west. So it's good to see that starting to come back out there on the West Coast with stuff. There's got to be some good pulling vehicles hiding out there.
Oh, I've been talking to the Jason Ingram, and he posts a lot. He changes his profile picture almost every day with a different truck. So I got to talk to him for a couple hours on the phone the other night, and he loves this stuff as much as I do. Is like finding where the stuff's laying in the weeds and who has it and where did it go and the history on all these trucks. So yeah, it's been fun getting to know him too. So check out his Facebook page, that Jason Ingram on Facebook. He's got all the West Coast stuff covered for sure.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to kind of, like Jason mentioned earlier, take all of these older vehicles and the ones that are still around and just put on a showcase of kind of how the vehicles have changed throughout the years. Line them, get like a vehicle from every 10 years and line them all up.
Yep. I wish I had the money and a shop where I could these ones that I find, like that Sundance Kid we found, the 2-wheel drive, the body. I mean, there's almost nothing left of it, but a little piece of the back is still original. And just, put this all stuff in a museum somewhere too. But there's no time and money for that right now.
So you do your best you can with getting it all documented and stuff.
Yeah, we got it on video, so hey, it's still there that way, and then everybody can see it too. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm always looking for, if somebody knows where something's sitting in the weeds, let me know.
So if you could resurrect one of these older vehicles that you've done or not, that's still around or not, which vehicle would you pick?
Like, which one do you want to drive, Rob? What do you want to drive, Rob?
Orange Blossom Special 2 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go with that one.
That one right there.
Go wrong.
I mean, pulling a wheelie. And one of the cool things I found out about that truck is, do you guys know why he would put the floodlights on the front of it and not the headlights when he would pull?
Let's hear.
So he's pulling a wheelie, can't see where he's going. He didn't have a hole cut in the floor. So he would, before the front end raises up, he would put those lights on and he would look at something about 30 to 40 to 50 feet above that. And that would be his guide as an aim for steering it. So the headlights would shine on that object at the end of the arena, and he knew whether to go left or right from those floodlights on the front. That's how he steered it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's a whole different driving style compared to some of the guys of today. Like,
yeah,
not
and
that the sport's gone backwards with driving style, but some of these older guys, I mean, just the technique was so much more that you had to utilize everything that vehicle was going through, and you couldn't just use horsepower in it as an excuse to get out of it.
Right. Well, when you sit in, I got to sit in the Orange Blossom Special too, and there's switches and levers and tanks. There's a tank up underneath the dash that's, I don't even know what that's for, but you know, you got the sliding rack of weights in the back. You got so much going on, you know. Yep.
That's awesome.
Wow.
All right, so
that
we
is
have 10 minutes
just
left with
cool.
Rob. Logan, let's get through some of your pictures of the Make and Bacon special, and then we can and Rob can talk about his stories a little bit. You guys need to go check out Robguy's Garage on YouTube. Watch all these videos. We're just sharing some of them behind the scene right now. Rob's up there in the top left corner sharing his stories. This is a passion project. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'll stop sharing my screen right now. Lacey Wager is coming on in about 10 minutes. He's your Outlaw Pro Stock champion, and he's a promoter now, too, with some breaking news. White Wright, Texas is moving to Colbert, Oklahoma. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. So, Logan, can you put up some of your pictures, boss, of your tractor?
Yeah. So I don't have too many current ones, but just looking at some of the older ones here.
And Rob, if you know any history of these pictures or where they were or what year, that would be great to hear some of that. So
yeah, years I'm not real familiar with, but I mean, Jill would be the best one for those. But
yeah,
that's so he painted it yellow first, and then they got the Carhartt sponsorship. Yeah. And that's how it got sold. And then it went to Carl Bilski, I believe. And so there's a couple different ones.
Right there. The Sandman.
Yep. The Sandman. Yep. And then you guys, how did you guys get it?
So we bought it from Carl Bilski as a rolling vehicle, no motors. And here coming up soon, there is one untouched motor off of that tractor whenever Carl bought it from Bruce. One untouched Rodec that we're going to pick up, and it's the only last one in existence. So we'll have one original motor plus the tractor there.
That's cool. Love it. So we got to get out and do a video with you guys now.
That's what it sounds like with stuff. Might be a little bit of a jog, but looking at it, what's all changed is we split the front two motors apart just for ease of working on, but I saw you had a picture there of whenever they had just built the tractor, and there was no motors and the chassis wasn't even painted, but all of the tabs are still on the tractor. So we could put that tractor right back together to where it was in a heartbeat. And that might just be a thing to do here coming up.
That would be awesome. I mean, do you still have the square air filters too, or the rectangular air filters?
I believe we have a couple of. So he ran what was considered the Enderley uprights, and that's what's on the tractor right now.
Okay.
So
and you still have that fuel tank too, right?
We do still have the triangle tank that sets out front. We got the side skirting that goes down the rails. We got everything for that tractor there.
Okay. Well, you have to send me. So we're going to do a part 2 to this. If you can send me some pictures, we'll add your pictures at the beginning of part 2 to let people know where it is now for sure.
Yep, we can do that. Everything down to that little little square fuel tank there in front of the 4th and 5th motors there off to the side. So basically what we've done is we took and we split the front two apart, and the cross box that's on it is off of some may know as Bruce Slaw's last 5-engine mod.
Ooh, okay.
That he ran there in the 2007 range. Dad bought that from him. So the tractor in the current configuration could take up to 5 motors.
Wow. That's so
Pass
cool.
the hat, Logan. Pass the hat. Time to go unlimited.
Have you ever driven, like, what's the most engines you've driven?
So in the early days, I'll have to go and find the video of it, but Dad loaded 4 on there and pulled at Wheatland back with the old configuration. So I will find that video and we will post that later on this week.
All right, cool.
But
is it cool if I use that on the video?
Say that again.
Is it all right if I use that on the part 2 video?
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
All right. Cool.
So that it's had 4, can take up to 5. So that's one of those deals where if we could run 5 Chevys against 4 Hemis, we'd sell the minis off and do that in a heartbeat.
So Logan, I think they just announced that you can run 4 Chevys at 871s at a certain overdrive at the Outlaw Banquet this last weekend in the mod class for next year.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I'm not, you guys know I'm not very mechanical. I'm jealous listening to people talk about that. I pay somebody to work on my tractor. I don't have time or the knowledge, but I'm pretty sure they passed that at the Outlaw Banquet, Logan. So,
uh-oh.
That's got to be a crazy ride sitting behind 4 or 5 engines. I just can't even imagine it, you know?
There's 7 spare motors here for that tractor, so.
Wow. Yeah, we definitely got to get out your way and do a video, so. Yeah.
I'll have to confirm that knowledge there, and we might be making some winter project changes for this year.
Okay.
Rob, I can't believe like the amount of people, like I'm 50 and I'm just not a pulling historian like other people my age or older. And I think I remember going with a kid, but like sports got so crazy. Then mom and dad got divorced, and then dad bought a tractor, his old D21. And then I started going back to Iowa from Wisconsin more. But, you know, there was no internet. Back then it was just a puller magazine. You know what I mean? I can't imagine what pulling could have been like if there would have been. I mean, but I suppose anything with social media like that now. But to have a YouTube channel and to see Jill Hutcherson post on your, you know, give it a thumbs up or give it a like or a comment, you know, that's got to make you feel cool. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I can't believe what's happening and the people I'm getting to meet. I'm just that kid that was in the stands. When you look at those stands in the 80s and there's like 50,000 people in a stadium and it's sold out. I was just one of those kids that's a fan, and now I get to meet these people. I'm so thankful and grateful to all these people that are opening up their house to us and let us in and everything. So it's unreal.
It's neat. Mike, like when I found out that Logan had the Make and Bacon special, and he's been helping with the podcast for almost a year now, I said, what? I thought we were better friends than that, but we really only talk on Monday nights. And
yeah, Iowa
State Fair was my pull as a kid. It was always right before school started back up. Dad would take me down there. We were good friends with Dad was good friends with George Henderson, the announcer, owned a couple of Case IH dealerships. And then the Rops had the Iron Elk tractor, and that was my favorite tractor. Like I sat on it every year at my birthday, the Iron Elk. I'm gonna let Warren Ropp drive my tractor someday. And we bought tractors. Dad did from Clona, from Riverside, or I think it was Riverside John Deere, I think was the name of it, or Clona. I don't remember, but just phenomenal memories. And like Warren, I saw him at the State Fair this year. I always go back and I help with the Outlaws and I get to announce a little bit, but I'm there with the live stream now. But Warren had an old helmet and like an old NTPA clock that he gave to one of the bars inside of the fairgrounds there, you know, for like some memory stuff. It was just super cool, Rob.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a passion project, buddy. So
yeah, these people don't realize like how they touch us as like when we grew up with this stuff, and you get to have like, you know, Gary Collins, you know, say, hey, I'll see you soon, buddy. Like it's what? No way. Come on.
We did some nostalgia shirts this year with Full Pull. And if people want to check them out, we did a Red Man shirt, a TNT shirt, and we got permission from all these places to do this. And we did a Sassy shirt. We did a Gary Collins shirt. And then we're giving money back to the people that, you know, have that, like a commission type of a thing. So we have those at fullpull.us website. So if you want to go check those out, it's almost Black Friday. I forgot about that. So that's
Jason, I don't think we allotted enough time for this. We'll have to get you back
no,
on.
Sir. When I messaged you, and I wanted to get Lacey on because Lacey's got a cool story. They came out of sprint car racing. They were at Tim Engler's dyno-in. Now the guy shows up at 2 pro stocks and just wins the outlaw points. He's a badass. And now they're going to promote as well. So I love Lacey Wager. I love people with passion at getting in the sport and giving back as well as a promoter. But when I was messaging you today on Messenger, I'm like, what do we, 45 minutes? I'm like, I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that's going to be enough. So,
well,
I think we need to have Rob. Rob, whenever you have a new video coming out or whatever, just let us know.
This has been awesome.
We'll just bring you on for 5 or 10 minutes. Normally during segments, normally pull-in's a little busier. We do different segments and stuff like that. But this time of year, I like to do longer interviews like this. So I hope you pick up more subscribers from tonight. I hope more people get involved. I hope more people comment and send you stuff. And I got some ideas peeling around, Rob. I'm going to reach out to you. So
I really appreciate you guys doing this. This is awesome.
Awesome. Jason's your guy. He's the social media guru.
Oh no, I'm not your guy, but I know a lot. I mean, we know a lot of the same people, Rob. But there's other ideas floating around in my head right now that I want to talk to you about. So
hey, I take any suggestion I can get. That's for sure. So
I like it.
I appreciate Logan reaching out to me too.
So, Rob, give a shout out again. Your Facebook page. Let me find my comment. I started up here at the top.
It's the same as the YouTube channel, just Robguy's Garage, and it's all one word, Robguy. So it was a nickname my buddies gave me. We had a Jeff guy and a Nate guy, and I was Robguy. So that's how that came around. So
were you guys drinking beer, I hope, when you came up with that?
Well, who knows? You never know, but
no, that's solid.
That's awesome. It's been a great time. Real quick, who do you need to thank with stuff?
My wife, first of all, so she puts up with all this, letting me go. I mean, I'm gone quite a bit now too. So, and my girls too. So, and like I said, Dan Mayer, Charles Posh, let me use their stuff, and just all the wonderful people we've met, Jill and the Bargies and Banners and John Nowacki, and just all these people letting us into their lives. It's just been great, and you guys reaching out tonight has been great. So I appreciate that too.
Real quick, Rob, and I'm sorry. I hate when I see a comment. I don't know. I don't want to say this wrong. People say the good old days.
Yeah.
And I'm offended because I kind of consider myself a modern day puller.
Yeah.
Why? Is it just because we were younger and, and we didn't have as many cares in the world? We didn't have social media and you could go to a pull and enjoy. Why is the past always the good old days? I don't understand that. Can you explain that to me? What is that mindset of people? Because it kind of makes me mad. Like, I'm spending a lot of money to go pulling for you guys, and we're still, maybe the good old days is because the purse money is the same as it was back then.
Yeah.
What does the good old days mean, Rob? I think when I'm grumpy at my real job or a mortgage is going sideways, I get a little pissy. But when I see that comment, I miss the good old days, or I wish we could go back. What when you hear that, what does that mean to you, Rob?
Well, I even hear that from like my parents and like even like grandparents. Everyone goes back to when they were a kid. I think everything goes back to when you were a kid and you were first impressionable, and the things that you loved, that's your time in history. Like me in the 80s with this Orange Blossom special, right? I'm like stuck in the 80s, I guess. I don't know. But
no. I want to know the psyche of it, because if I sat on a pulling tractor today without a roll cage, I would freak.
No way.
It just wouldn't feel right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I think the hard thing is,
so people aren't picking on today's puller. They're going back to their childhood, those good core memories, maybe when life was easier. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, and that these guys, I mean, the guys do today too. They put every stick of metal, every tube. They had to make this stuff. And when you look at what these guys didn't have to work with the internet, and I'm amazed at, like, I even asked like Gary Collins, like, how did you get superchargers out here in the middle of nowhere with no internet? How did that happen? And like, where did you guys get these parts? And to make 4 and 5 engines run together back in the 70s and 80s with no CAD, you had to make all this stuff, and that's what I got like such a huge just admiration for like Ralph Banner and making these boxes and making this stuff out of metal and it failing and then having to go back and heat treat it and redo it. And, you know, now you can buy like a nice cross box. You can buy all that stuff, but you still have to put it all together. I'm not taking anything away from the new guys at all. It's still money, time, a lot of effort. But I think we just look back at like, you know, these were just, a lot of them were just farmers putting stuff together and they made it work. And it amazes me today.
Yeah, no, that's neat. Rob, we're going to have you back on. I love your story. Keep it
Thank
up,
you, man. Yeah.
So we're going to buzz over here. Thank you for your time, Rob.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, and drive safe. Drive safe. If you drive in Chicago, you got way more patience than I do, buddy. So
every night.
I specifically time my trips through Chicago after like 9 o'clock at night or super early in the morning, just because I can't handle that. So
I'll be down there tonight. So, yep.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Rob.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks.
That Logan Stephens was a good interview, my man. I love that.
That was phenomenal.
Rob
Reed with Robguy's Garage. What an interview.
Check him out. He said he's got 6 months of stuff coming up. There, he stacked up a little bit. So cool. Well, my next guest. This is my guest now. That was Logan's guest. I don't know if Lacey's pretty cool. I don't know if he's as cool as some of those old videos like that. But so Lacey Wager, and we'll tell a story in a little bit. But his sons were in the micro sprints and the sprint cars, and he can be more serious about it. But they were at Tim Engler's shop dynoing, and I think Lacey saw a component chassis being built, and Tim Engler said to Lacey, "Well, you should get a Pro Stock tractor," and he ended up getting 2 of them. So he's got 2 5.0s. They came out of Lemke's shop. That means they run like rape tapes. They're good machines. But what him and his sons have done to learn to drive these things and beat some legendary pullers, and he won driver of the year or puller of the year with the Outlaws, Logan, at the banquet last weekend, and then also won the Outlaw points. And I believe Caden, his boy, got 2nd or 3rd in the points, but they were right there in it all year. And that's the 5.0 Pro Stock fan class. This started with the Outlaws. I mean, they've had it for 10 plus years now. So I would say some of the best night in and night out 5.0 Pro Stocks in the country pull with the Outlaws. And yeah, I mean, I know Chris Kane's a 5.0 Pro now and he wins, but you know, when he competes, he's up against 2 or 3 guys. I mean, Lacey's up against 15 to 20 every night out with that. And we've seen such a growth in the 5.0 Pro Stock class. So excited to have him on. So I'm going to bring him on, and he owns a turf business or a lawn, whatever. He'll explain it all. And then he's going to promote this pull in Colbert, Oklahoma. So Whitewright, Texas, the land was sold. That's probably the biggest pull in Texas, I think. Yeah, it's pretty darn close, Logan. It was sold. The land was sold a couple years ago. I think Cody Lee and Preston Collins, and who knows, Lacey might have had something to do with that too. But they rented it last year, Logan, to have the pull. But they just put it out on social tonight to do that. So why don't I bring him on?
Oklahoma, that makes it a little bit easier of a drive to go down there.
Yeah, see, but now you got to put those 4 Chevys on the make and make
Chevys on, and
then you can see it. So, all right, Lacey, I'm going to share your winner video that we played at the banquet the other night. And then we're going to start talking shop. So give me a second. Thanks for coming on. Where's my videos? I don't have Kenzie tonight. This is what happens. I don't have Kenzie, guys. Here we go. That's Lacey pulling in Lufkin, Texas. Lacey, welcome to Let's Go Pulling, Outlaw Champion. How does that sound, buddy?
Oh, never thought it would ever be there. How are you, Jason? How are you, Logan?
Your speech at the banquet Saturday night was from the heart, man. I mean, you're a big, rough, tough Oklahoman cowboy, and man, he almost got his teary-eyed, Logan, a little bit. You know, just a little. Rob talked about it looking up in the 80s. You know, he was our previous guest on the show night. Looking up and seeing the Orange Blossom special, and you know, Lacey's competing against people he watched his whole life. Well, it was fun. It was fun to talk about that, Lacey. So, did I give it all away how you got into pulling, Lacey, or can you be a little more specific than what you went to Tim England, Robbie Lemke?
I mean, So actually, my boys started racing. We chased the tractor pulls everywhere. I mean, Bowling Green to Louisville, Kentucky every year to the farm show. And, that's, we started going to White Route when I was a little kid. I'm 48 now, and I'm as early as I can remember going down there, then that was date nights for me and my wife, in the early 90s to start going. I mean, that was something we didn't miss, But my boys got into micro racing and everything, and they have what they call the shootout. That's usually between Christmas and New Year's in Tulsa up there. And
is that the Chili Bowl thing, Lace?
So Chili Bowl will be your midget cars, which is usually 2 weeks after the shootout.
Okay.
So the shootout is the first thing it starts of micros. There's usually 1,800 cars trying to make the final show of, I guess it would be 4, maybe 6 classes total. 25 cars is all that's left standing at the end of it there. So Tim Engler always sets a booth up there, and we was looking at some different injection systems, and I was over talking to him and seen a couple of pictures of back here at the back, of tractor pullers, and got questioning about that. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we build frames and this and that," and I'm like, "That's something I've always wanted, just never been in the position until getting there to be able to buy something, but kind of looking for a turnkey job because I didn't have a knowledge with enough of people and to build it ourselves, And I got like a 2.5, 3 year waiting list, So like, oh, sign me up. I think I want one, And so it rocked on the following year. We go back up there again for the shootout, and I make my way back over there. And we'd kind of been talking some throughout the year. We'd bought an Engler injection system, a couple of them for cars, and we got getting a little better with it. Kind of become more friends with Tim and his wife Tammy and stuff. And anyways, I asked him, am I getting any closer on that list? I think I could kind of tell Tim done forgot about signing me up on the list, And he's like, "Hey, man, you still interested in one of them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want 2 of them." Oh, so now I went from 1 to 2, He kind of laughs about it there for a little bit. And I guess we followed in about the 3rd year, and my name was getting close enough to it. He called me up there after the shootout. By then, we done had 10 race cars and everything had Engler injection system on it. We done been living at his house, like one of his kids, dynoing 3 and 4 days at a time and staying with them and everything and getting to meet the rest of the crew as far as it builds the chassis and all that. And I guess shortly after the 3rd shootout, which would be like, I guess it would have been 23. Our name had done kind of come up, and he was done build them, And so on our way to Louisville, Kentucky, there of 23, I guess it was, the chassis was pretty much fixing to roll out and be shipped to Craig Wildman to be put together. So just took a lot of time because I guess we was in that COVID situation of no parts was available and this and that. So it strung it out. We didn't make our first appearance until White Ride of 24.
Yes, sir. And I was there. I remember that. That was cool. I rolled in. They made some test passes during the day, and I was like, "Holy cow, who are these guys? They got 2 beautiful tractors." And then getting to know Lacey and talking to him the last couple of years, it's been fun.
I could barely go down the track.
You did fine. You did fine. Within 2 years, we won an Outlaw Points Championship. There are people that go their whole lives without winning a points championship. You can't buy a point championship anywhere, Lacey. This is a money sport, but you can't buy a points championship. You have to earn that. And that's why I've been really impressed watching your driving. I watched a lot of your stuff on the live stream because I wasn't as many outlaw pulls this year because I'm out on the NTPA Grand National more. But telling you, buddy, you can drive. You can drive.
It was definitely a lot of miles on the road, and have a few self-inflicted problems that, you get to go back to the motor builder and start all over again. And I'll be honest with you, as far as I had a lot of good people in my corner to make sure when we showed up at the shop, we was repaired within a few days. And and back out again on the road, you know, to go to the next one. There was a couple of times that it was unplanned event that you're going to drive 8 hours to the motor builder, tear everything back down, start all over, and go back, you know, and make the next pull on the next Thursday or Friday night. Most of them was Friday, Saturday pulls. So if I didn't have them guys in my corner, I wouldn't been accepting or getting to accept all the plaques and awards that we got this week.
Yeah, and he's referring to Lemke, you guys out of Helenville, Wisconsin, just east of Madison, and he lives in Oklahoma. Lacey does. So, and we all know the Outlaws are west of the Mississippi. So, the miles he put on to do that. So, he had to drink some Crown Royal, I'm guessing too, and some beer if he was hanging out with Lemke, working on stuff all night.
They might have a pallet or something up there, you know, that they keep in stock.
They do.
But most of the time it was not a lot of playing around. You know, I'd get there and Craig with K&K Customs, you know, he's one that sheet metaled all my tractors, did everything out on them. And man, he would meet us over there at 7 o'clock in the morning. We start tearing things apart, and motor would go one way. And, you know, a couple of times we had to fix some rear ends, and it definitely, I had a hell of a set of guys in my corner to help push it. So I was trying hard for the 1-2 position for them after everything that we'd done all year. You know, Caden got third. Cody got the second position, and you know, I think I was running with probably the toughest group of guys that you could have. The only thing that helped me out with some of them is they didn't make all the pulls, so that kind of left me. As long as we could keep making every one of them, we'd do pretty good. But I had a tough group that stayed right on me. It kept me pushing me. You didn't want to stump your toe, because I think if I'd stumped my toe one more time, Cody would have took care of me on that. He would have been the first place.
Cody was coming hard at the end. He was not. And then Did you guys get 2 drops, right? I think you did.
3. We got 3 drops.
Yeah, 3. Okay.
We got 3
I can't
drops.
remember the numbers. I was going to try to get
I ended up with 3. I ended up dropping 3 zeros because I had motor. Broke a lifter roller on the first go around in Rock Valley, and then had a number 2 main bearing to spin. And I ended up meeting one of my drivers on the road, and he carried it back up there because I had a field day that we was doing at home the following couple of days there on a Wednesday. And he carried it up for me there, and Lemke and them tore it all apart, put it back together, and then turned around and spun the number 3 main bearing. And still to this day, don't know what caused any of it. Everything seems to be fine, you know, and then we've ran a couple more pull hooks since then and ain't had no issues. So we'll tear them back apart here pretty quick and just kind of go through them. Robbie really likes to I think he likes just taking motors apart and putting them back together, to be honest with you. Him and Troy does.
I think they like to look at things and see what they need to do better, because those are a couple smart dudes. He does that. I mean, we'll be changing something there on the tractor, putting the motor back in, and Robbie will come by there and he's like, I don't like that there. And I'm like, well, what else are we going to do? Give me a minute. He done went up there. He's done took a machine, a drill press, a lathe, and everything else. He comes back with a part that he just made. You know, it looks like something, you know, you should have been working on for half the week, you know, and he's designed it in a few minutes and brought it back down there to put it on the tractor. I'm like, well, Robbie, I need 2 of them. I got another one over here that needs the same thing. That's awesome. How did you find, so obviously Engler with the chassis, but how did you find Robbie, and well, K&K kind of goes with Robbie. They tend to my 4-1.
Yes.
So
yeah, Craig and Robbie works together on a lot of stuff there. So it was kind of going through them on all of it with Robbie. So we originally wanted to go Robbie's direction, but he couldn't get the motors at first, and that's when Ryan Salabeam built me 2 motors for the tractors, and then we ended up swapping out later on. And I went to Robbie at the first of last year.
Well, I'm in Wisconsin. My first toter I bought from Robbie, so I've known Robbie a long time, and then was really involved with Badger State. We still help with their social media. Beer Money Pulling Team does, Lacey, but I don't get as many Badger State pulls. But a lot of those, and the Badger State Pro Stocks, it's hard to argue. there's not a tougher bunch of pro stocks anywhere, and a lot of them come out of Robbie's shop, you know. And Gallitz is just right down the road. I pulled against them forever in 4-1, and they're tough. They were tough Super Farm competitors, and they're tough 4-1 competitors as well. So I'm sure you've met Tom or Nick when you've been up there a couple times.
I've met a lot of them up there, and that's one good thing about the pool. And it's just like with Outlaws. I mean, at the banquet this year, you know, I got to meet a whole lot more people. We went there last year, 100% knew very few people, you know, so you'd meet a few of them, socialize and this and that. This year, we got to meet a whole lot more of them, and you know, we was the new kids on the block last year and started this season, so it took a little bit to kind of get worked in and meet the people and, you know, start visiting. But we figured out real quick, if you'll feed them, you know, at your trailer, they will come, and you'll get to meet a lot of them. Yeah, they all seem to like the catfish and this and that. So
you can tell he's a pro stock driver and not a mini rod driver.
How's that?
Oh, you pro stock guys love to eat. I have to watch what I do hanging around your guys' trailers.
Yeah, no.
Lacey Federer.
I can miss a meal or two, and it wouldn't hurt me none. That's for sure.
You and me both. So. Lacey Wager, everybody with us, your pro stock champion with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, has a neat story with his sons. And
Outlaw.
I'm sorry, what did I say, Badger State?
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain's still spinning from everything. Yeah. We were just talking about Robbie Badger State, but he's your Outlaw 2025 points champion in the pro stock class. Lacey, what's been the hardest thing to learn about driving a pro stock?
Everything that I learned on the dirt track world after, you know, it took us about 3 years to get really good at that. Everything that you know in dirt track and car racing, this and that, you can wad it up and throw it out the window, because in the tractor pulling, you're going to do right opposite. You know, when the track gets hard and slick, you know, you want to start changing tire pressures and do this and that, and you better go the opposite direction in tractor pulling, because you're fixing to wind up at the end of the list real quick. So it's been a hard lesson, and you know, I'd get mad at Robbie and Craig. You know, we started off, we did pretty good, you know, and one I guess if I'm can recall.
Did you get right out of the gate?
My son did. Well, now I did the first year, but like this year, I think I won Ravenna, the one night that we pulled in Ravenna.
Saturday night.
Yep. And then Caden won both nights in Whitewright, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because he parked it about inside our trailer, because we have video of him coming right at it, like 397.
Yeah. And then I would call Robbie and Craig's like, hey, man, this is what I got, what I need to do. And they're like, I'll just do what you've been doing. You're doing really good. I'm like, that's not the answer I'm looking for. I need some help here. And he's like, no, man, just do what you've been doing. You're doing good. You know, and I hang the phone up and just, you know, Dinah's like, my wife's like, what do you say? I just do what I'm doing. This ain't helping me none. You know, we're wanting to move weights around, do this, do that, you know. And usually, like Craig says, he says, when you start second guessing yourself, you're going to mess up. And he was 100% right, because I did that multiple times this year, and I went to the back of the pack really fast. So,
well, you have two awesome mentors that have success, you know, and you can't argue with those two names. You know what I mean? It's wild.
Well, I argue with them, but usually usually don't work out for me.
Right. But they have the resume and the pedigree, Lacey, that makes you give them, you know, respect out of the gate. Yeah, you and Caden went 1 and 2, and I'm on the Outlaw app. They have the best app in the sport of truck and tractor pulling. The Outlaws do. You were 340, Caden was 330, Wampus Cat was 324. And then you guys went to, was Whitewright next?
Which one was that? Was that Ravenna, Nebraska?
Ravenna Saturday, and then I don't think
Whitewright was our next. That was our second hook for the year.
So Whitewright on Friday night. Pro stocks. Caden was 335, Cody was 332, and then you were third at 316. So you got third there, and then Caden.
Well, just remember, I still set Caden's tractor up for him, so I already get a few points for that.
Yeah, you do a lot for Caden. Caden's a pretty lucky young man, so I love it.
He didn't get to make as many pulls as he would like to. There was a lot of mornings that he showed up at 7 o'clock. He'd throw his bag in the trailer, and I'd come walking in shortly after and grab his bag and throw it back out on the floor and tell him he's got to stay home because the weatherman missed the rain that we were supposed to get or this or that. But he still, I think he's still hooked, I think 17 or 18 times for the year. And I try to keep his tractor going for him, but I don't think I'm going to do that this year. My wife really wants to drive one, but
Dana does?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, she does, but she don't want to do the test hooks in front of everybody. So I don't know. Maybe I can.
Colburn, Oklahoma.
Maybe if I can get Doug or Kevin to show up a few days early with the sled, at the farm, I could get her down the track a time or two.
I think you have the ability to make that happen. I think you do. I really, really think
I hope. It's we have been since we was gone for 9 days because we went to Lemke's customer appreciation deal. Then we went through Rock Valley and visit with Kurt and Kurt up there and Taylor and some of them. Then I would drop down and I visit with Kyle Carson down in Kansas City for a little bit before we went over to the Lake of the Ozarks. But we got back home yesterday evening late, and welcome to Monday around this place is what it's been. So finally later on this evening, we got trying to get some stuff lined out, buying a couple pallets of orange cones, some signs, like we're getting prepared for this next big event that's coming down the line for us.
So I saw the post today, and I heard some rumors and stuff, but did you guys have a pull there last year, or what's this history of the Colburn, Oklahoma track there?
I've never. It's always been white rides, and I really thought, and I was not part of Cody Lee's them. I just helped, on donation wise, like a water truck and a few things, and got the light limited pros because it wasn't scheduled early, but we still got them a good payout, there at the end, the ones that made it. Cody Lee and Preston and Doug and them did that whole show down there.
Okay.
It's what I know on that, but I just don't think it's worked out as far as, as you said, the white right sold, Ray Miller and them sold it years back. And then they leased it for a little bit of time, and it wasn't working out. I think trying to make everything line up to try to break even on the deal, Nobody wants to lose money when you do something, and I think that was the hardest part is trying to pull it off. And it's going to be the same way with us. I told Kurt Van Beek when I started this, I said, I pretty much got everything squared away except the seating, and I think that's going to be a problem. And I didn't realize that's going to be as big a problem as I thought it was going to be. So bleachers are not cheap by no means, rental or buy them, either way.
And it sucks because you only use them a couple times a year if you're lucky. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I got just to try to get 2,800 seats. I got a bid here for $69,000. So that is pretty rough. So I thought, well, I'll buy some portable bleachers to seat 300 people. That's they're about $100,000 a trailer. So that and I was trying to shoot for 3,000 seats. I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of seating for everybody and accommodate it. So, but we're going to do a lot of things for at least this first year. We're going to try to do a lot of things different. I'm going to go back to kind of like y'all was talking about that old school stuff earlier when we used to go to White Rat down there. We're going to give bicycles away to the kids.
Yep.
We're going to I'll let the cat out of the bag on this one too. Probably he'll get mad at me for doing it here, but Ron's going to be the announcer with Outlaws and everything to keep, all that up to speed. But I got old Dave Bennett to come in and
the hat. And, you got the hat.
I got him to come in and keep the action going and keep the crowd alive. How about that?
Hold on. I got a breaking news sound. Let me find it. Ready? I got to find it. I needed Kenzie tonight. Here we go. Fancy. My internet sucks tonight. I got to quit doing it out of this office.
I was going to say you just completely lost everything there.
Did you guys hear my breaking news sound though?
We got a little bit of it.
Oh, here, I'll play it one more time.
There you go.
I didn't get a chance to get out to our podcast office. I had a busy day. I didn't have the kind of day you had, Lacey. We talked earlier, but I still had a busy day, so it's all good. So yeah, so the Whitewright deal, that's pretty. So is this on your guys' property or is this in town?
Yeah, nope. This is actually, if you look at address up, you'll see some big, huge shops right there, and it's all surrounded by the sod fields. And we're going to put it right out the front door. And I've kind of got it all planned out now. Once again, you might take them plans and wad them up and throw them away at a later date. But we've got it pretty much planned out. I've got everything. We're going to pull the dirt from over here off by side one of these ponds I got to get some really good select fill. I got some wheat that we'll bale up, and we'll start preparing the track a couple of weeks ahead of time, and the irrigation system will keep it watered, and we'll get the wheat plowed in and probably some sawdust or wood shavings plowed into it, and we'll see what kind of track we can have.
Lisa, I don't mean to put pressure on you, but you are a dirt guy. And if you don't have a good track, buddy, Lacey, you're going to.
I know how to grow grass. That's okay. I've got it lined up. I told them up at the pool that I'll have the flattest track when we start off. I got a friend here that does a lot of blacktopping and stuff for me. He'll plug in the little GPS, and she'll be 1/16 of an inch from one end to the other. Now, after the first tractor goes down, I don't know about after that. We might make a mess out of it. But so we're gonna do that. Normally, I have a big 4th of July fireworks show. I sent you some pictures of that earlier. We're going to incorporate the fireworks show into after Friday night and Saturday night. We'll have some dinners for the poolers ahead of time. We'll probably cook fish one night, do barbecue one night. And I think all the early guys that gets down there on Thursday, we might do a steak dinner with them. I'm going to need plenty of help to show up to help me get started on this deal. So we're going to try to put a show on for the spectators that they've never seen before, and definitely going to get their money's worth from start to finish. How about that?
That's awesome. I didn't realize that I thought this was an existing facility, I guess is what I was getting at.
No,
but
this is
some of poles in Oklahoma. I'm going to try to send these pictures to myself so I can upload them quick.
Yeah, this is actually going to be, we're going to be harvesting grass off of this field in 1st of May, and we'll let it grow back just enough to so all the traffic won't damage it and this and that. And we got to set everything up and then get everything off of it to get the irrigation back going on it, because we're going to set up in a week and tear it back down and be done. So, and then hopefully scrape the dirt back off, load it back up, and go stockpile it for the following year and get the grass scrubbed back together to harvest.
Hey, so the light limited protractor that I saw with you in Unionville, is that one of your buddies, or what's the story on that?
We bought that tractor. I actually bought that tractor. I got a 3rd tractor being built. If my time frame ever gets up on that list, Tim, he sticks to his time frames no matter what, But anyways, that's he's a man of his word on that. But it's no rush for us. We ended up buying that tractor, and then Warren West that does a lot of fabricating for me. He helps us on building everything. My wife's kept him on a short leash with this venue that she's building over here, from building a bridge to pipe for drainage and this and that. So Warren's been driving.
Social. That's pretty fancy, Lacey. So
yeah, she's got plenty of stuff piled on my lap to work on. That's for sure.
Where'd you get that tractor out of?
It come out of Missouri up there.
Is that Horsemeyer's?
Warren could actually tell you who. He's the one that kind of found the tractor and everything, and I went and picked it up with him. I know. I think the guy who had it, he really wasn't even driving it much. Somebody else was driving it for him. Yeah, you can see the tractor over on the left-hand side. So there's one trailer of fireworks display that's all wired together right there.
Wow.
That's a lot of booming.
Yeah, and it'll be good because it'll be divided up. There's about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to that trailer, so we'll divide it up in 2 different nights. We'll have a show for Friday and a show for Saturday.
Nice.
As long as we can keep the rain beat off, that'll be about my luck. First go around, we'll have rain, to rain this whole party out for me.
Well, let's not talk like that. But that is the worst fear of a promoter. I'm not going to lie to you.
So that shop right there be where I'm actually putting AC in that building right now. The shop area is 100 by 150. We'll set all the tables and stuff up in that, and that's where I'll do the dinners and stuff for everybody right there for the pullers and promoters side of it.
How did you get into the sod business? Was that family, or did you start on your own, or what's your story?
Man, my mom and them run cattle, and they had registered Simmental cattle, and we farmed peanuts, until basically the government chopped the peanut program up so bad. And then we turned around and a few guys had got into the turf industry, and I realized that there was a little bit of money in that I thought we could make work better than they did in the other farming. So we started up in that in like 2000.
Awesome.
Started with 95 acres leased land, and I guess now we actually farm 2,000 acres now, own about 3,000 acres total. Nice. We run 8 automated harvesters a day. I guess somebody's asking on there. The sod harvest, we run Briar, but I run the RoboMax of the Briars. So Princeton delivery system. That's the Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay.
We run Navigators, Chris. I take it as probably your name there. We run Navigators, not Princeton's. I started off with a Princeton when I first started delivering by myself, but I run all Navigators now.
Good deal. Yeah. So how far is Dallas from you then? How far do you got to take that in?
Oh man, it's got where Dallas, the actual downtown Dallas is 70 miles. I'm basically 2 miles from the river before you go into Texas here with Sherman and Denison on 75. But Dallas is now plumb up to Van Alstyne, Howe. I mean, it's coming this way fast. Used to, we was tickled to death to get a load. If you was a driver to get a load to go to McKinney or like Melissa area, that was just a cream of the crop. You get one once a month, and now we're sending 10 to 15 loads a day to that same area. So wow. I got a lot of times drivers can pull 4 and 5 loads a day because we're running such short runs. So, but they're fixing to have it pretty much, I'm going to say, but probably by 2028, I think was their deadline. So they got 2 more years. It'll be a 6-lane road to that Red River Bridge from there. Once you hit the river bridge, you're going to be 3 lanes from there all the way to Dallas. They've done got it. Probably, I guess it's to the 503 spur between Denison and Sherman. As soon as they can finish that road work there that they've been working on for over a year, it'll be pretty much 3 lanes from there all the way to Dallas. They kind of jumped in between and skipped an intersection around Van Alstyne, but they're in there doing it right now. So they're fixing to be all put together at the same time.
Good.
So we got a lot of grass that just goes right south of the river now,
Okay. That's neat. That is neat. Are the boys, are they helping then with the family business?
Yeah, they don't get a choice.
Well, at least you're on it. It's farming.
Yeah, no, they don't get a choice. We got rained out, for a couple of days here, so we're changing. We're doing maintenance on everything, but no, Braxton still runs. He runs 305, 360s. He still plays in the micros a little. In order for us to do what we done, last year, 2024, Braxton ran 125 races. We carried him on everything. We started in Ocala, Florida in February, and every weekend we was somewhere running. He won the national championship on the restrictor side of 624. And then this year he started off in a 305 big sprint car, 305 and a 360. He's ran them back and forth.
Are those engine sizes, Lacey? I'm sorry, I'm pretty naive.
Yes. Yeah. It's a 305, 305 cubic inch and 300 on the 360. So, I mean, on the big sprint cars, the 305 is kind of like the restrictor side. You have 305, turning around 470 horsepower. The 360s are turning, if you got a good motor, you're going to be turning around the 750s, and then the 410s, like the World of Outlaws, you're running 410s, turning 1,050 horsepower on them.
Wow.
So,
that's wild.
You're kind of the opposite of where we are with stuff. You guys came from the sprint car world into the tractor pulling. My brother's just recently gotten started working his way through junior sprints and now into restricted micro.
Got you.
So you're completely right.
So brother's got Logan's
And
your brother got a kid that's working through it?
No, I've got a younger brother.
So you got a real young brother then.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm 18. Yeah. He just turned 12 this year.
So he's in restrictor micros now.
Correct.
Gotcha.
The 600cc restrictor.
Yes, that's what Braxton won in 2024. Yeah. Because we started at late, he was still running it, at turn 15 into it, where a lot of them is done, graduated out of it. But, we started in it late. We didn't go through junior sprints and all the way up. So, that's the thing, a lot of people didn't like it, but I think it made him the better driver. I robbed it from Caden. We started in 2020 and everybody's like, take him out of it, he's too old. Well, I took him out of it, but then he got thrown to the wolves, because when you go to A class,
yeah,
you're going to race against Frank Flood. It's won 650 times. You're going to race against Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, because all them guys come back down and play, in the A class, because Kyle Busch's kid, Brexton.
We were racing against Brexton this year.
Yeah. So we ran against him in 24, and that kid lives in a car day in and day out. He will be good, and he is a very good. He has been in our trailer multiple times. He is a good kid all the way around.
He's very, very smart. Watching him and listening to him there at the track.
Yeah, we've parked right there next to Kyle and Samantha multiple times at all these tracks, you feel bad because that's what Facebook's good for. People just bashing them, this and that. And then you get to see the other side of, what them people's like, or you're at the track when, Braxton does something aggravating his mom or whatever, and everybody's like, oh, that's just put on. That's just for the cameras. And it never was, it's just, it's heartbreaking to see it. People's always got something to say that they don't even know what's really going on.
No, but no matter what we have, people are going to, whether you have a website or a Facebook page, people are just usually just jealous that they just took the time to do it, but it is what it is.
So what is your, Logan, what does your brother run for motor-wise?
When we purchased this car, it's an older Hyper. This was just we bought this car just to get him into the larger side of the micros. So it's running right now. We've just got a Suzuki motor in it. Trying to think. I believe it's an Engler electronic injection on it.
Yeah. So I run Engler manuals. What I ran.
Yep.
You got Gould, you got 600.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was trying to find us a car with the Engler mechanical, because that's what we know from our alcohol motors on the big vehicles.
Yeah, we got a shop full of them over here. If he wants a good one, and motor wise, cars, all that, because we're selling all the micros. We're done with it.
I might have to send you a message on that, because we got to get him sorted out.
Man, the mechanical is that's what Braxton won on everything with that, but you've got to put the time in and learn it. You got to get that air. You got to stay ahead of the air density and all that on them pills and everything. That was a hard part, but I spent enough of time at Tim's and started learning it. And, you could look at Braxton's track record. 9 times out of 10, I'll show up on Friday night because our qualifying was the heat race with now 600. And I would choke on it on Friday night, but before the night was over with, I could have him to the front, and then we could win it on Saturday night, a lot of times. So, but the Suzuki, I like them. They got a lot of, I call it low-end torque on it with the Engler injection. They do really good. Now Braxton runs with one-way performance. That's the only way I got to do everything I done this year. He runs with Joey Starnes and Ashley that has got one-way performance, and Joey builds a really good chassis too. But he runs Yamaha on Gould, and turning 17,500 RPMs on that little crotch rocket motor, but Braxton.
Yeah, our box is at like 16.5, Jason.
Yeah.
So that'll wake you up.
Yeah. That's where we was most of ours was. I ran usually around 15.2 is where the torque was on the manual on the injection system, mechanical. So I stayed usually around 15.1, 15.2 on that. Kept the motors together, but you could definitely win it like that, hands down.
It's definitely a big jump or a big change going from the tractor pulling world into the sprint car world, because like you said earlier, you're still on dirt, but there's very little similarities between how you set stuff up.
You better get used to the drama.
Oh, that's the other thing, is sometimes you get with some of these guys, like that's the thing I love about tractor pulling. You control your own destiny. You don't have 20 other guys wanting to put you into the wall out there.
You're correct. You got 24 to run over or 24 that wants to run over you. Take your choice. And you're running open wheels, and it's on short tracks. You're running little 1/8 of a mile or under tracks. I mean, we have run 1/4 mile tracks too, way too much speed for them cars, but everything is decided in a split second for them kids, So that was one thing about going into the bigger cars. You're getting into bigger tracks. You got more time to think, to make a move or whatever. But in the micro world, you're there quick. So where do y'all race at?
So we'll run Sweet Springs Motor Complex up here in Sweet Springs, Missouri. We'll run Port City. We might make it down to the shootout this year. It's been a couple laps around there.
We'll be with Joey and them at the one way. He's gonna run an outlaw car up there, an A-class car. But Sweet Springs is a nice motor track to play on. Braxton always loved that track, and then Port City was our home track. Basically, it's a 3.5-hour drive. But you get to Port City and you start winning in Port City, you can win anywhere when you leave that track. I can assure you, because that is one tough place to do something, and that's where we got started for 3 years. Was right there on that track.
Was it the competition? When you say that, Lacey, was it the competition or was it something about that track?
Hell no, it's competition there, buddy. They're the best of the best is there every night, and they host some of the biggest races. Your KKM races, Keith Coons motorsport races, the every race they have there, it's no joke. I mean, you're going to have a full crowd and you're going to be there.
What state is that in?
Do what?
What state is that in? Port City?
It's in Oklahoma. It's Catoosa.
Okay.
Tulsa area.
Yeah, up by Tulsa. Yeah. Yeah, Sweet Springs, Braxton really liked that track. That's a really good, more of an open track that you could do a lot of passing and stuff on. He loved to race that track up.
It is. There's no really, we're basically right smack dab in between Tulsa and Sweet Springs. So it's 2 hours one way or 3 hours the other kind of deal. But
Jefferson
no,
City,
like you talk about
Run.
Doe Run. Yeah, we didn't make it down there this year, but that's another good track that we could run at. Talking competition there, just like a heat race at or a main event at Sweet Springs is your heat race down in Tulsa. It just the competition of those guys at Port City is uncompared.
Yes, they're good. That's for sure.
Sean Hicks jumping in. He's watching on Facebook. He said angler injection systems are works of art. And then he said Hyde Banks Hustle is always a good event at SIR. I don't know what any of that means. So tell me, Lacey.
Southern Illinois Raceway.
Okay.
And then they also got your high bank over there at Belleville, Kansas. Over there. Braxton run 305s up there. He did really good this year up around 305s in that track. It's just a bunch of little racetracks. I mean, on the micro world, there's a racetrack hidden in every corner on that, you know. There's a lot of races.
Is this like the stepping stool for NASCAR, or is this stepping stool for F1? What are you work your way up through these ranks, if you will? Where does this end up, Lacey, for somebody?
I mean, you'll go from juniors. I mean, they go from cage carts, they call it, or whatever, you know, into the junior sprints to A-class cars because you're running non-wing, A-class, wing A-class, non-wing outlaw, A-class, wing outlaw. They'll leave that, you know, and they go into, your bigger sprint cars, and then they just kind of go from there. A lot of them goes to the midgets, you know, running the midgets there. And like I said, I mean, I think in 2024, Braxton raced more every track that we was at because we ran all big shows. So like KKM with, Keith Coons, he tries to land his 3 to 4 day events at the same time that were NASCAR's in the area. So if NASCAR's in Kansas City, you're going to probably see him at Sweet Springs. You know, if NASCAR's in Dallas, he's going to be in Texas Motor Speedway, the little track down there. So he does good about trying to land it because you got Kyle Larson's kid, Owen Larson, and then Kyle Busch's kid, Braxton. They all are running in the micro world, and their daddies are run right there with them too. So it's kind of cool you show up at the same tracks that they're running at. They're running NASCAR, but then they come back down and run their stepping stone where they come from and love to do it.
Yeah.
So really, to answer your question there, Jason, you'll see some drivers migrate to NASCAR, but then a lot of them you'll see stay there with the World of Outlaws or high limit 410, just top of the line circle track guys.
I went to a race. We had an outlaw pull on a Wednesday night in Bloomfield, Iowa, and I think we headed to Troy, Missouri or something on Friday. So we stayed in Bloomfield, and I watched my first sprint car race. I think they were the 410s. I think they were the bigger ones in Bloomfield, Iowa. There, maybe Lacey would know, but they were big. They were big and fast. And man, you talk about fans that it was like being at a soccer match. They really yell. They're passionate for certain drivers. I was shocked. I enjoyed it, but I was shocked. So
Christopher Bell's in NASCAR right now. And when we started in 2020, he was running right there where we was running at, So there's a lot of them that's just went straight out as we was coming into it, that we seen and watch them race, and then they've done moved up already.
Wow, it's pretty neat. I like to hear about different worlds like that because all I know is pulling, and don't really know much else. So it's exciting to do that. So, all right. So Lacey, points champ, rookie of the year, puller of the year. What are you gonna do next year, buddy?
I don't know. I done kind of set the bar kind of high already, didn't I?
You'll get it because Cody Yard are going to be licking to get their chops.
I'm still going to run it. I think the Outlaws is they kind of kicking the deal around. They've got so many pullers, and the pro stock has come on board that they're talking about a North division and a South division.
Yep.
I was aggravating Cody the other day up there. I said, I think I'm going to pull in the North, and he's like, that's what you need to do. That's just what you need to do, but I think a lot of the pools will overlap with each other. And it's like I kind of got worried with us having the pool here, but with the Outlaw group, they're going to support each other. They're going to help each other. They're going to support each other. Tim Engler, as I was trying to give that speech up there the other night, when I started all this and didn't know really which kind of tractor I wanted, which way I wanted to go. And he's like, yeah, you're going 5-0 and you're going to go with the Outlaws because that's a good group of guys, and he didn't miss that by none. I mean, it's I love the organization. I mean, you sat back, you hear some people gripe this and that, but and Logan's going to figure it out before long. After about 3 to 4 years of racing, and dealing with that and the drama and everything else that goes on at a racetrack, it makes the series of the Outlaws look like, saints as far as running with. I never had no issues with them. The pullers that we run with is amazing. As it's took me a little bit of time to get to know each and every one of them, but I still don't know. It's like showing up at the banquet there and, you don't know 75% of them. You'll learn a few more as you go. A few more knows more about me than I remotely know about them. They stop by the table there at the banquet and tell me how much they love our Christmas lights and this and that. So it's obvious they're done on my wife's Facebook page and seeing everything, not mine. But you just start picking up more and more people as you go. 'Cause if it wasn't from her doing all the social media stuff, I'd be in trouble. But
it's all good.
But she likes to do all of that all the way around. She did a lot of pictures or a lot of videos, with Wampus Cat and with Lotta Green and Cody and all that. She did a lot of videos all year long, TikToks and this and that, for everybody.
Well, it makes it fun. It gets it out there.
So more than anything, we're super excited. I really wanted White Rat to have the pool for their 50th anniversary down there. And, we was kicking the ideal around 2027. I was kind of wanting to incorporate the big turf field days that we have with the pools. I would gain a lot of people, spectator, right there immediately running the two together. But then whenever they come and said White Rat's out, they're not having it, I didn't want to lose the date. So I come home and I think I got the first 3 words out of my mouth that White Rat's not having it and they're looking for it. And she's like, yeah, we're doing it. So she stands behind me on everything that I do. On the way home there yesterday, and this bleacher's becoming a big issue. She's like, well, just go buy some. I sent her the quote, I guess, for a 300-seat portable bleacher type situation for like $90,000 a pop, $600,000 to seat 1,800 people, it'd make you choke on it real quick. So I told her, I said, we're going to keep looking around, see what we can find. We're going to probably have to keep trying to find somewhere to rent.
Are there any bleacher rentals out of Dallas that'll haul them out there?
Man, there is. And it's just, that bleacherrental.com. I was trying to get $500
a day or something, Lacey, for those. What do they want per section? I forget.
So bleacherrental.com has them like them ones that they had in Lufkin down there. You know, they seat like 400 people, 15 rows. They're like $2,900 for that. And it's for the weekend, but they're all tied up. That's the problem, you know. So they are really trying to work with me on it. But, you know, he was just trying to get me anything that they got. And he was just falling way short on the number of seats, you know. And then the worst thing I want to do on this situation is go, I'd rather have too many seats and not enough. I don't want to go in this thing half cocked and ain't got it squared away because I'm following in the White Right Truck and Tractor Pull steps. So I got to make it better. I can't go backwards. I mean,
right.
And that bar's done set awful high for me already.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no pressure at all. No pressure at all.
Yeah, no pressure at all. Then I got a bunch of the guys was coming to me wanting me to add their classes to it.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to be careful. You only need a 3.5 hour show, Lacey.
Yeah, I'm done at 9 classes already, you know, so we'll have to see how it goes because everybody wants to keep it on about like you said, a 3.5, 4 hour show. So,
yep. Well, it just doesn't do any good, Lacey, to spend money on classes when everybody's going to leave. Yeah, you'll have, you know, your diehards like us stick around, but that's only 20% of your crowd. You quit selling beer and food, and I mean, no offense, everybody's going home. Right. So I'll stay till 2 a.m. because I love it, but there's not.
Well, hopefully we can hold them there on the fireworks, and we'll probably still be giving some stuff away. That's our main goal there. You know, we gotta hustle up and find some sponsors to help support this situation. I don't want to eat it off by no means.
Yep. I saw they did that in Elizabethtown, Kentucky this past, I think September, October, we were down there. They gave away bikes to the kids, like 50 to 60 of them. It was neat. Yeah. Announcers were doing that all night long. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. I want to try to do like 25 bikes, you know, on Friday and 25 on Saturday. And that's what me and Diane was talking about earlier, you know, making – everybody wants a hat. Everybody wants a T-shirt. So, you know, we want to try to give back to the pullers as much as possible. You know, we're trying to decide on, you know, how to make it work out as far as how much to charge, you know, a person on it. I mean, I feel like your $20 a day passes it's going to be hard to make anything work. I mean, you're going to have to go up a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Still try to run the kids, you know, kind of what we got an idea. It's like trying to do 6 and under free. And
I think in an event like yours, I think a $25 or $30 ticket per person is realistic. And, you know, then, the kids, that's the key is it 10 and under? Is $5? Or
I think we're going to shoot for like 6 and under is going to be free. And then like, you know, 7 to 15, they're going to be, you know, half price, you know, like say maybe $15, you know.
You'll see a bunch of kids with mustaches like Logan running around,
you know, and if them poor guys really knew what it costs to even get the Outlaws to show up and the bleacher rentals and this and that, you know, it's a bad deal on it. And
I know. No, I only joke about that. It's always 1 or 2 people that piss you off. So, hey, Sean.
And I have a lot of that already, so I try not to let anybody run that for the rest of them. You know, we even have that with employees at times. So, but you know, we're trying to, you know, if we charge $30 admission, they're going to get their money's worth. Number one, they're going to have the 9 classes.
The best of the best. Yep, the best of the best.
And then the fireworks show and the stuff that we're going to give away, you know, that's the main thing. And I mean, if you look at it, I mean, they'll pay $100 for a concert ticket or $100 to go to, you know, to go to baseball games and this and that. So, and nowadays it's got where a family of 4 is $100 just to go out and eat. So it's getting pretty expensive on that too.
Sean Hicks, where's this Clarksville Speedway at? We got to get them in touch with Lacey, because this is where Don Slama a couple years ago, probably 10 years ago now, bought a whole bunch of bleachers out of a drag strip that closed. So Sean,
and that's the only bad thing, Jason, is I got to get this stuff in and get it off the field. You know.
Oh shoot, I didn't think about that.
You know, I can't.
You just can't leave it.
Yeah, and even like you know, them like bleachers, all them bleachers we was looking at, you know, movable bleachers that you can move with forklifts and stuff. They only set 100 people, and they're still $30,000. You know, so
Yeah.
You know, and that's if I was going to leave it for good, I'd go out there and start framing it up and build purlins, and that's what most people have around here. They put sea purlins and all that down on there. So
yeah. Hi, Diana.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm trying to keep these puppy dogs quiet for y'all.
That's okay. What's that puppy dog's name?
No, I'm kidding, but they're wild and loud. Yeah.
What's that name? Well, that one.
This one?
That's Zeus.
This is Zeus. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are those
this is
Westies?
Zeus. They're mini schnauzers.
Mini schnauzers. Gotcha.
Yes, we have 3 of them.
I love it. If I was home doing the podcast from home, my dog would have heard that and he'd be barking now too. So it's all good.
Oh, they are yappers, that's for sure. Nobody can drive down the highway. They've and slow down, and they'll smell them.
Any
That's
local
for sure.
rodeo folks? Any local rodeo folks help you on bleachers?
So once again, Sean, that's like all the bleachers for that stuff has been built 40 years ago, and they're all sea purlins welded to the ground and all that.
Yep.
That's what, a lot of them, like all of our fairs, all that stuff, they're done, put into the concrete, and they're there for good type stuff. So, and that's what I'm kind of struggling with, trying to getting some sponsors to try to pick up the classes and stuff, and it's just not a good economy right now to be trying to get businesses to pick up anything. I mean, that's the worst part about it, but, we're going to make it happen one way or another.
Right.
And for the people, I mean, it's not going to, I don't figure I'll get the white right crowd the first year. I'll gain a lot of people that knows that we're not going to halfway do an event. It's going to be out of the ordinary. So hopefully enough that we gain that some of them might not want to make the drive or are concerned about it,
Yep.
You know how this goes, Jason. You can't fail on the first; they'll never come back.
Right, and you won't fail. You don't fail. Might not be perfect, but you don't fail. So, and you've been to enough pulls now, and you have people that care enough that help or that want to help.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them that said they'd come and help on the situation and everything. I mean, I'll put it to you this way: every one of them that I've asked to come and do and this and that, and from. I got Kevin and Lori for a sled. I've got Gary coming for a sled. Brought Dave out of retirement to come help me. So that was a little challenging there. That was
Dave's going to sell some tickets too, though. You bet your ass. People know Dave Bennett's there. That's going to be a ticket seller right there. So.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, he said, well, I got to have a place to put my motorhome. I said, well, I'll put you down by the pond, full hookups, and I'll give you a golf cart to drive around. You'll be taken care of, and I'll feed you all week. So,
Dave's kind of like that Beach Boys rock star. He has a list. He has a list of things he needs. Lacey.
That's okay. I'll accommodate it. I chased him for 20 years, back and forth. And when he started hosting helping with the Louisville, Kentucky pool down there,
Yep.
But as Dave will tell you, he said, I ain't no spring chicken anymore. So,
no, it's all good. Well, as long as he's not like you have Ron there with him, it's not like he's going to be by himself.
And that's what the deal was. I told Ron and them, I said, because I kind of give them a list of stuff that I wanted to make sure would be okay before I said I do on the situation. And, Ron's going to do their Outlaws Everyday advertisement for the whole 9 yards of doing all of that. So, as Dave told me, he said, I just want to be the clown. He said, that's all I want to do. I want to be the clown. I said, well, we can work that out for you.
That's perfect.
So,
well, Lacey, thanks for coming on tonight. This has been fun. It's been good getting to know you guys over the last couple of years and continue to be awesome and strive to be the best. I know you will. So,
well, I appreciate y'all having us. It helps out all the advertisement we get of trying to promote our first annual pool situation.
I like it.
Logan, you tell your brother good luck on that. No matter you're going to bring out you're gonna bring that car back many, many nights on the end of a tow hook and a wadded up in a wad. So
I'm well aware of that.
Have lots of extra parts, lots of extra wings, nose wings, and you load up and you go again.
Yeah, you might get a
for
couple
sure.
phone calls from us asking for pointers one night down the road, but no, I
Buddy,
appreciate
I
the
can
good
help
words of
you on
wisdom.
that. Yeah, I can definitely help you on that. You know, the first thing that I'll tell you is trying to learn gears on a track. You know, somebody's going to tell you to run a 1448, you know, at Sweet Springs, and that's great. That kind of might give you a starting point, but if you're running a 69-inch right rear tire, not a 68, you know, like they might be running, you're going to be a tooth off already. You know what I'm saying? So rollouts on tires has a lot to do with that. You could be 2 and 3 teeth difference, and when you leave that track, you're going to be like, man, them guys lied to me, you know, this and that. And that's kind of the way I was for the first couple of years, and I started figuring out, man, you change 1 inch on a right rear, you done changed 1 tooth, you know, on a gear. So keep that in mind, and when you're making your list out, Logan, make sure you make it out what your rollouts is, your tire sizes, and everything that you can write down for the night, you know, air quality and the whole 9 yards on that deal, because that's a big deal with the restrictors of keeping all that done, because you got to keep that car perfect, because if it ever bogs down, you're going to be back of the pack before you know it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's.
But
totally
feel free
right.
to give me a shout. Feel free to give me a shout. I'll tell you what little bit I know about it.
Okay.
That and $3 to get you a soda water at the store for what I know about it. But you know, we've done it for a while. We you know, like I said, in 2024, he won a lot of races. My wife can tell you more statistics of how many races he has won. 20, she said 26 features last year is what he won. So
that's awesome.
And every time he got back in the micro this year, he would be up front or win a race, several go rounds. I think he won Jefferson County, Missouri, and then he won at Port one night too up there. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll probably see you around our travels.
Well, if you see, we'll be at the shootout. Look us up.
We will. That's for sure.
All right.
It's been a great time tonight, guys.
That was a good guess. There's this beautiful badass tractor right there. So I love it. I love the motorsports. So what's that, Logan?
That thing's a work of art.
Yes, it is. Beautiful. He's a good dude. Cares. Just a good guy and good for the class and good for the Outlaws, and great to have him around. So excited for that. Wanted to have him on tonight. And he had an emotional speech, and it was from the heart too, Logan. You could see it at the banquet. These are guys that he just started pulling with a couple years ago, and to beat them and to battle night in and night out is pretty neat. So you can see the competitor in him. So it's fun. It is fun. So. What else do you want to go over tonight? I'm working on getting those Australians on. They have a pool down there. I don't know what else. They're IHRA, more chatter with the Outlaws and an alliance. I know that that 4-1 rule was passed for the box charger. I think IHRA wants the Outlaws and the Pro Pulling League to have similar rules, is what they kind of said at the banquet. I don't pull with them anymore, so I wasn't listening to the rules as much, but I was kind of curious. I think everybody thinks Pro Pulling League bought the Outlaws. They did not buy the Outlaws. They're both under the IHRA umbrella now, and I think IHRA wants them to have similar rules so they can pull back and forth. You know what I mean? I saw some people making videos that Pro Pulling League bought the Outlaws or the Outlaws bought Pro Pulling League. It's not true. They're just It's like they're another association, part of it. Just like Heartland Division is part of the Outlaws. Or Badger State's part of Pro Pulling League. It's just a sanctioning body. Yep.
Yeah, and some of it, like PPL, is still kind of its own thing, but IHRA is in with the the Fent high stakes series sector of it.
It sounds like PRI. PRI should
PRI
answer
is going to be a big show.
It should answer a lot of the questions because a lot of this has happened really fast, I think. So
you're going PRI, right, Jason?
What's that?
You're going PRI, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a full pole booth down on the floor. If you've been down there the last couple of years, David Richardson's foursome's going to be in there, his unlimited. We got some other surprises coming as well, but I can tell you that we're going to show off the biggest and the baddest. Last year we had Adam Bauer's tractor there, and this year we're going to have Dave Richardson's tractor there. So,
well, I just got news that we're shifting some stuff around, so I'm going to hopefully be making an appearance out there.
Nice,
swinging through. That'll be my first.
Wear a comfortable pair of shoes, Logan.
Very much so.
It's a lot of walking, buddy.
I know that place like the backside of my hand from all the years I've been out there at National Convention.
Thank you for bringing Rob on tonight. That was neat. That was neat.
That was a blast.
We had, the numbers just kept ding, 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 ding as the show went on. You and I keep saying we need to shorten this thing up. We're coming up on
and now we're still up to 2.5 hours, but
yeah. But when it's good, people are still watching, engaged, and making comments. That's what it's all about. We get a lot of listeners on Spotify. We're on iTunes and Spotify, but Spotify is our more popular platform, Logan. So people don't always catch us live; they can catch us later. So
hopefully they keep on listening because there was definitely 2 really good interviews tonight.
Are any BMT going to Powderly, Kentucky poll this weekend? I don't know. Sean Chandler is the one who goes to all those polls. I don't think so because I think it's deer hunting season up here still, and he's big in that. I know he's going to a couple, but I'd have to look at his schedule, Sean. We have a YouTube channel, Pulling with Garden Tractors. We have a Facebook page, Pulling with Garden Tractors, that Chandler, who works for us. He's awesome. He's the one who posts all of our content, so it's all good. And I do want to talk about Feature Week on Full Pull Live.
Yeah.
Mini rods this week, Logan.
Mini rod week.
Dan posted kind of his 2025 highlight. He kind of recapped the season for the NTPA and Pro Pulling League. We posted that at 7. Tomorrow night's like the wild ride video that Chris has been helping us put together. And then we have an editor that puts it there. She's awesome. And then Wednesday's always podcast tonight. And then we just keep kind of jamming as the week goes on. And Thursday's Throwback Thursday. And then Friday is new news. And then Saturday, Dan and Jeremy and Miles kind of do a prediction for next year. It's going to be neat to see because I don't know if you watched No Practice last week, but Kester was hinting pretty hard that he wants to get on that high fence series, which would take him away from some Grand National polls. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But again, this should be the most talked about winter. This winter should be the most pulling's ever been talked about. You know what I mean? Because we have our events in Florida. Zellwood, Florida, with the NTPA Grand National in Satsuma. So the season's starting a little earlier. Of course, Louisville's in February, a lot of indoor events. It's active, buddy, all year round. So
it's definitely going to be a big winter with stuff. We'll know here real quick after PRI the locations for the Fent high stakes series. So, and then we should be getting here in the next couple days our registration for it. So hopefully for the high stakes series.
Yeah, you'd think they would tell you where you're going to be though before you register, or is that keeping it a surprise?
We're going to figure it out one way or another. It's too good of a deal to pass up, so we'll make it happen.
Yeah. What's the prediction? Do you think that all the classes are going to fill up?
It's going to be interesting because 120 vehicles divided by 15 a class would be your 8 classes, but there's 10 Grand National classes. So, it's going to be difficult getting 15 unlimited supers or 15 mods every weekend. So it'll be, I think we'll hit that 120 vehicles, but it will definitely be interesting how it fills up and shakes out.
Well, I'm excited. I haven't, like I said, to have pulling talked about this much. And then the IHRA announcement with the Outlaws on Friday, that one, everybody kind of knew something was coming with PPL, but I don't think people...
Did anyone know anything was happening with Outlaws? Because I sure didn't.
No, I didn't. I mean, that was a shocker. The Outlaws are strong. And then so it was 3 years ago when PPL lost Forrest, the Lucas Oil deal, and that had been kind of the, what's going to happen.
This is bigger than when Forrest was.
Yeah, the money wise, it sounds like it. Again, I don't know the numbers in and out, and I've never been to a PPL banquet. I wasn't there 3 years ago when, John stood on the stage and announced that and said that they lost some money and Lucas was pulling out. So
I'll just say,
what a rally!
Our regular Champions Tour paybacks are back to the good old Forrest Lucas days.
Yep, those are some of the highest payout I think in recent memory. And they had some of the big names over there on that stage because it's going to be interesting to see. We will see, and that's what's going to make it fun. And everybody else is going to step up. That's what the sport needs: a kick in the ass. So
it'll be the shot. So,
well, hey, I got to work on a pre-approval yet tonight. I just got one come in about 30 minutes ago, and they want to write an offer tomorrow. So I want to pull some credit and look at some documents.
That sounds good for the loan making business.
Well, it's what I do. It's my real job. So, Rob Reed, Lakeville, Illinois. Yep. Robguy's Garage. I had to look at my notes. Great interview. He just commented on here as well. Go check him out on YouTube, guys. I hope he gets hundreds of new subscribers from watching tonight, and we'll just keep jamming. Let us know who you want to have on every week. Chris Kilbarger, we'd love to have you more involved with finding guests and stuff like that. He's one of our regulars and loves the sport as much as we do. So, I definitely want to get the Australians on, and I think we kind of keep going down whatever's current. And then somebody said Steve Boyd passed away today. Did you hear that yet, Logan?
I did not.
There's some text messages running around, and so I don't know. Thoughts to the Boyd family, the Green Streak team, man. It's crazy. It is crazy if that's true or not. So,
that's no good if he passed away.
So, thoughts and prayers to the Boyd family on that. Tim Engler will be.
Yeah, there it is.
Steve Bunnage says yes. Steve would know. That sucks. Steve just had. I don't know. Steve had some cool stuff on that. Is that the Racer channel or what was his on? Mod takes a lick and. I saw at least had some stuff posted, but that was neat. They were doing some interviews at Chapel Hill when I was down there with them, and I think they did some. I don't remember. It's hard to keep it all straight, Logan.
Yep.
But feature week is
coming. PRI week after this.
Yeah, we got Pro Stocks and then PRI, and every day is a feature. And again, I want to give a shout out for the Florida events. Zellwood, Florida, March 13th and 14th. These are Grand National classes, but it's open. Like you can come and buy a day pass if you aren't running for points. And then Satsuma, I got our logo up there at the top corner. Let me get rid of that in a second. But those are the 4 classes: Super Stock Diesel Trucks, Light Mods, Minis, and the 4.1 Limited Pros, all NTPA Grand National points. The point season will start in Florida in March. And then Evansville, Indiana is May 28th. That kind of starts the outdoor season. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We announced our classes for the Pullers Championship a little while ago, but really the news recently has been IHRA, Purchasing Pro Polling League, and then the alliance with the Outlaws. It's pretty wild. But like I said, I think it's amazing. If this money's there, Logan, it's what the Pullers deserve. That's what we keep preaching. And then to get the fans.
If everything holds true, and Daryl always seemed to be a man of his word. So it's going to be huge for Poland.
I'm excited. To see just the facts coming out and stuff like that. But then Tim Engler is going to be on the No Practice podcast December 10th, that Wednesday of PRI week.
Okay.
So they're going to his shop to interview him there, but he'll be live on the No Practice podcast on December 10th. And that's fun. I love what we're doing at Full Pool. So
yeah,
I don't have anything else, boss. Again, thoughts and prayers to the Boyd family, the patriarch of that family, and that's one of those legendary names in the sport of pulling, Logan. So
that's
okay. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get this thing shut down. Stick a fork in it.
Good night, Logan.
Good night, Jason.